Hey guys, quick little note, the audio quality is not going to be amazing this specific video because at the time my voice had a lot of popping in it, and I apologize for that ahead of things. I was trying to use a different voice thing to see if I could make my audio sound better, and it inadvertently made it sound worse. Sorry. Back to the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the GamersParadise podcast. Unfortunately, it's just us today, I know. You have to hear our voices again. You have to hear our horrible voices again. There's no one else to break the silence of our voices.
One, no. Two, they clicked on here for us, you know.
I know.
I believe.
Well, they'll, if they did, maybe they read the actual title and didn't have a guest part in it. But, hey,
Yeah.
welcome back anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess we'll kick this off like we normally do. How have you been, Kiwi? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I had a late night last night, but I'm sure a lot of people did. For context, this is the day after the elections. There you go. I don't know how much we want to get into that, if at all, but
I think skimming over it a little bit's okay.
Okay. Then yeah, it was a long night. It was a long night.
Yep. I kept looking at it a little bit. I think I looked at it a total of like 3 times, just to see where it was going, and it kind of had me laughing a little bit, just because it wasn't hard to tell the scales were very clearly leaning in a single direction.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're gonna move on from that because we don't want things to get political in any way, shape, or form.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Besides that, did you have a good...
Let's pause. What about you? I know that you've been sick. I know you've been
Well,
sick
I was
recently,
actually getting to that with my next question, which is, how was your Halloween? Because my next statement's all about Halloween.
I don't really celebrate Halloween, so it was a day.
Oh, so you didn't even do any? You didn't do anything with it?
No, I mean, I don't have any kids or anything, so it's not really for me.
Don't lie. We all know you have 250 children. You fucking freak.
Somewhere out there, probably, yeah. But not any that I have with me.
You broke the sperm banks. I know the truth. That would be horrifying. The amount of child support.
No. If you're in a sperm bank, you don't pay for it.
Yeah, no, you don't. I remember reading an article where someone actually tried to do that, and it was just a wild read.
Yeah, and it immediately got shut down. So,
it did,
for example, we found this out firsthand. So my brother donated to one in a very specific circumstance because there was he knew a lesbian couple and they wanted to have a child. So he was like, "Sure, I'll donate to that." Now, he's never really talked about it ever since then, and he's not really involved since then, because why would you be? You're not supposed to. So yeah, it's we kind of he had to do a whole bunch of paperwork and shit, basically saying that they can't, if something were to happen, they can't blame him for literally anything or post it on him.
Because if they could, that would be weird. It would basically be a lawsuit-making machine.
Pretty much, where it's like, oh, 2 people who can't have kids want to have kids. Oh, we're gonna blame you for it. It's like, what? But you're the one who asked.
Yeah, it's a bit funky with that one.
It's not funky. It would potentially be funky, but there's actually laws in order to make sure that it's not.
But from that, I guess I will explain my Halloween and point of view of everything, how I have been. I'm sure you all have heard me say it 1,000 times, but I'm still sick. I'm getting better, obviously, because you can actually hear my voice, and I don't sound like I'm the nasilest motherfucker in the world. I still cough a little bit, but that's mostly because okay, so, Kiwi, I didn't tell you this, but I did technically just wake up an hour ago. So a lot of the coughing I'm doing is just from it being settled from sleep. So I'm trying to get the morning guck out. Technically morning for me, but for those wondering, it's 6 p.m.
Yeah.
But when I want to say last week when Halloween was kind of everywhere at the time, I had full intentions on doing stuff during the Halloween event.
I was going to take my sister and my nephew. We were just gonna go to like the expensive like neighborhood near us, and we were just gonna get like the best candy bars because they literally like that part of the neighborhood just has the best stuff just always, and they always give you a lot because they buy too much. So
Yeah.
I had plans on doing that with them because I did that last year and it was really fun. They both really enjoyed it. And I was like, sweet, we'll do that again. Unfortunately, I was too sick to like get out of the house. I did not feel good. A lot of lightheadedness mixed with just low oxygen levels. Not fun. That's what happens when you have a lot of chest congestion based stuff. But aside from that, to make it even worse, the day after Halloween, I believe, or a few days after Halloween, my sister had her own little birthday party that I was not able to join in because I was too sick. I literally was too exhausted. I slept through the whole day. I woke up at 10 p.m. It
My
sucked.
God.
I was not good that day, I'm gonna tell you that. Um, After that day, I had then had my baby nephew's birthday party, which again I was too sick to join. I just stayed home, but thankfully, they did actually come over and bring me like a slice of cake, which was nice. I did enjoy that, but I missed out on two birthday parties, and it sucks because it's like I had full intention of joining. I was going to
Yeah,
be there.
you missed out on two birthday parties, and ironically enough, there was a third birthday party. My mother, she
Oh,
had her birthday.
I
Not
missed
over the
out on
same
a
weekend.
third.
What?
Nothing. I'm joking.
I didn't even hear what you said because it was like
Oh,
muffled
did
out.
it cut out? Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, not really. Like you can hear it, but it was very hard to understand. And it doesn't matter. Point being is that this was the next weekend. So, but you
Yeah.
know, or no, it was the next, within the next week, that she had her birthday, and and she's fucking 48, so it's not really a big event, but we had a really awesome cake, and
I was gonna say, so you threw her like an extravaganza birthday party, right?
no, 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 no. She would hate that though.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I would
If we
hate it too.
tried, if she tried, or if we tried, she'd be like, it wouldn't be for her at that point.
Yeah.
She wouldn't want to even be there.
I have also had like bad experiences with the birthday parties that were too big. It sucked because okay, for clarification, my birthday is the 30th of November. It's not too far from like Thanksgiving. One year, this is basically the last time I ever had an actual birthday party. One year, my mom and one of my like her family friends decided to meld our Thanksgiving with my birthday, and at the time, I thought this would be fine. Until I tried to invite my friends, and they kept telling me I couldn't invite my friends.
What?
Uh-huh. And then when the birthday party actually happened, I at least had one friend, but no one ever said anything about my birthday that entire time. They were all talking to themselves and having Thanksgiving food. So it was as if it wasn't my birthday.
Okay,
And then I
I'm sorry.
walked out of the party and went back to my home and just did not talk about that.
Okay, I want to go back to the beginning of that. Not that
Yeah.
I missed it, but I want to make sure that I got the right context here. Say the beginning part again.
So it was my birthday party, but because my birthday is generally near Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
they wanted to combine it. It was my
Who's they? Who's
my
they
mom,
in this case?
my mom,
Okay.
basically my family and some like family friends, right? They lived in the
Okay.
neighborhood at the time, so it was just a walk down from where we live.
So
They just decided to mix.
Like I said, I did get it. I just want to make
Yeah.
it. I just want to make sure the context. So
Yeah.
basically, they were like, hey, let's combine these two, which would be easy,
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh, super big meal for my birthday. That's fantastic. You get there. Was there like a fucking cake? Did they sing happy birthday to you? Was there like anything?
I
This
legit.
sounds like it's a few years ago.
It was a few years ago, and I will be honest, I don't remember there being a cake. I don't remember anyone saying happy birthday. I literally remember having struggles with any of, like, with all of my parents and family friends being like, yeah, we're not going to get those people that you're wanting. And I was like, excuse me? I remember having, like, I was waiting in a parking lot to where, like, an old not skating, it was roller skating rink used to be, because one of my friends
Yeah.
worked there at the time. And we were just waiting for him to get off of work to just take him to my party. And on my phone, I kept getting messages like, why are you taking so long? And I was like, are you shitting me? It's my birthday. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I was so
just like,
pissed.
yeah, so I understand the idea of like wanting the Thanksgiving to be a family affair, but if you didn't want you to invite your friends, then why make it your birthday party too?
Exactly.
Like, that's what I'm skipping over my brain. I'm like,
And what,
I
like,
I'm 100% behind a family only Thanksgiving, 100%.
yeah.
But if you're
Easily.
going to say that it's also your birthday party, you can no longer have that rule.
Yeah. And keep, and something I will state, um, after the party was all said and done, I got into a one-on-one conversation with my mom, and I looked at her, I was like, I'm never having a birthday party again. I want you to know it's your fault, and I want you to feel this, so you never do this to my sister ever again. So you never, like, so this doesn't happen to her. And she has felt horrible since then. And now she knows. So I fucking drilled that into her brain. Because no, that was horrible. It should never have happened. And it was the worst birthday I've ever had. So bad that I've stopped having birthday parties. I now only ever eat out for my birthday, and that's it. I only ever go with some of my friends or some of my family, and that's it. I never make it anything huge because that one event ruined birthdays for me entirely.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I was always lucky because my birthday's on June 9th, so there you go.
Yeah.
Exposed. But
Oh,
my birthday's in
damn.
June, so there is no holidays anywhere close. It was always nice because I was 6 months from Christmas, so you're getting gifts more frequently than most people. You don't have that super long wait time. So
Yeah.
like growing up, that was pretty nice. And it's like it was always warm. We had a pool. Now there was actually one problem with that did end up happening with my birthday was because my birthday was at the very end of spring or right before summer, where it was just starting to get into that late late 70s, early 80s as far as Fahrenheit goes. They always wanted to go to Holiday World. Holiday World, if you know, for context for everyone else, is kind of like downscaled Disneyland. It's just a theme park that's closer. It's in Indiana. So it's close by. So we would go there. Problem is, I get motion sickness. I don't like roller coasters by any means. It's like, I don't dislike theme parks. I think they're great. I do have a lot of fun. But it's like, if we're there in like a group, right, and everyone wants to go on a roller coaster and I don't, I'm now just sitting there alone on my birthday waiting for them to get off.
Yeah.
Because I have genuinely no. It's not really. I guess when I was younger, it was more of a fear, but now it's just a lack of interest. Like, I just don't care. It's like, I know I'm not gonna like it, so why would I do it? Like, it's like that.
I remember a little while back, I had a somewhat similar experience, but it was because of the rides. I went on the Voyager they had there, which is like, I can't remember what is it, like America's biggest wooden roller coaster or some shit like that.
It was at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I rode that, and this was a few years ago, 5, 6, I don't remember. But it was the last time I rode a wooden roller coaster like that because it hurt like hell. I don't know, maybe like reaching a certain point in my age where my body was like, okay, now you can feel all the pain you're supposed to be feeling when you're on this.
You are an old ass man, though.
Yeah, it hurt so bad that like I actually had trouble breathing from it. And from then on, I like that entire like rest of the thing, I didn't ride any rides because I was just in too much pain. It settled down over through the night, but like that was the worst experience I've had there. And I generally don't have bad like ride experiences. Rides are my preferred thing over like the water stuff. But that was an experience that I've had that I did not enjoy, and took me out of riding the rides for that day, and it sucked.
The ones that I like are the more like carnival style rides and then water rides. Like those are much more mine style. In fact, the only roller coaster I've ever been on was the Raven, smallest of the three at Hollywood. I was much younger. I think I was like 13, 14 at the time, and it was not. It
Yeah.
weren't that. It weren't there. I did not have a good time. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it still wasn't great.
There is one roller coaster I don't mind riding now because it doesn't hurt as much, if at all. And I think it's called the Thunderbird. It's not like your traditional roller coaster where you're sitting in a cart. It's like you're on this like hanging platform thing, or you're seated down into it, and it propels you ridiculously fast, and it basically feels like you're just suctioned to your seat, but you're just feeling all the motions of like just zooming around the park. And honestly, it was way more comfortable to ride. The motions were just a lot more entertaining, and it didn't make you feel like you were in pain all the time. So it was like immediately just a better choice of roller coasters to ride. But similar to what you said before, I actually kind of agree. I do prefer like the carnival rides. Do you remember the one where it's like a bunch of swings attached to like chains?
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorites. I've always enjoyed that one just because it's calming
yeah, that one's
and it's just
sweet.
fun to swing around on. That and the one that like suctions you to walls. That one's fun. The roundhouse, I think is what it's called. But yes. I guess now that we've gotten the fun little introductions on how everyone's been doing, let's talk about something I think you've been wanting to talk about for like a few weeks now.
Oh yeah. So it doesn't really. The sad part is it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah,
but
it's not
one of
as
the main
prevalent.
things I've been, yeah, it's not as prevalent, but still around. Is the Lunchly style pseudo Logan KSI and Mr. Beast problems?
Well, I guess
it's actually
there
like
is an
50
update
problems,
now.
but all thrown together. There is an update.
Yeah.
It's true. So that's kind of nice.
I'll
But
get
if I
the
can just
the
get to
biggest
what-
update out of the way real fast. Apparently, Lunchly's it took a week for it to exist and then immediately get kicked out. It got the Conquered experience. All right, you got it.
Okay, so there's that. But additionally, it's more like 50 problems all shoved into one, because it's not just Lunchly. Lunchly is just like the umbrella because it includes these three people who are already doing terrible things.
Yeah.
And mind you, up until recently, I watched KSI and I still watch the Sidemen, although he kind of annoys me at this point while I'm watching them.
It's kind of hard
but
to
we take
watch
it-
someone do like the shit you used to like whenever you know what they're like now.
Yeah, and here or there is when you go back to the beginning of it, the idea of Lunchly is not bad. It's fine. You can have competition. The problem was them. It wasn't even them selling it as public figures.
It was how
had a
they
problem
like
with that.
handled it.
Not only that, but it's like before we even get to how they handled it, first, them being public figures should have nothing to do with people liking or disliking it. Because not only do celebrities do that all the time, but it's really like the most minute detail of a company is like, oh, like Elon Musk, for example, whether you like him or hate him, he owns those companies. Whether he's a celebrity because he's known, but he also just runs the companies. So it's like the same thing here. It's like just because they're celebrities does not mean they cannot run companies pretty well.
Yep.
Beyond that, what the real problem is that they were false advertising it. They were saying that it was a healthy alternative. It is not a healthy alternative. It might be a healthier alternative, because there's that word, those two words are very different. Healthier and healthy are very different. Like
A healthy
technically-
Lunchly's would you opening the packet and just seeing vegetables.
Exactly. It's like, or there's something to that degree, or it's like,
Yeah.
healthier could be it's the same thing but slightly better for you. So it's like you have the expectations that it's still not great for you, but it's going to be better than the alternative.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you're buying, you know what? Actually, to offend some people, if you're buying Lunchly or Lunchables for your child, you're bad at parenting, because
Oof.
it literally just means that, because here's the thing, how much it costs. Everything that's in that meal, in quotes, which is way too small for a child, you could buy cheaper and in mass than just buying it alone.
He's not wrong.
It's like you can get like of a similar price, maybe slightly more. You can get, instead of just the one small meal, you could get 3 to 4 medium-sized meals of the exact same style. The only difference is time. So it's not money. It's not that you're too poor to do it. It's time. You don't care to spend the time on your child to feed them properly. That is the only gap. Anybody who says, "Well, I buy this stuff because there's one exception that I would give is like nurses who work 12-hour shifts and then also have to sleep at some point and also have a child, in which I would say that the other parent, whether you're male or female, the other parent should take care of that. It's like, what are they doing? But like, let's say you're divorced or something like that, and you are a single parent household, then that makes a lot more sense because you legitimately don't have the time for it.
Yeah, there's like nothing you can do in that moment.
But
that's
other
like
than that,
that's like the very low percentage that have.
That's
that
what I'm
as a
saying.
problem.
Like, besides that 1%, you should take the time. My mom has worked every single day except for COVID during that small break there of my entire life, and every single day she's put 3 meals on the table and then also made meals for the next few days on the same day. So like, you can make time if you really want to. You can make time.
My mom used to do the same thing. She's a lot older now, so she kind of struggles to do a lot of like the cook stuff as much as she used to. But she used to make, as you said, like meals every day. Like she would have like breakfast and lunch and shit prepared for everyone, and that's just kind of like how it used to work. Like her mom even used to do that kind of crap. And she did that when she worked. Nowadays she doesn't have to worry about it as much because my dad works and she stays at home and tends to stuff. But she has the time. And especially back then, had the time to do that kind of crap, and she never had to like worrying about buying fucking Lunchables or some shit like that. And if I'm being honest, by the way, Lunchables, they're good. They're not that good. They're like every kid enjoyed eating them, yes, but they enjoyed eating them to get to the dessert part, which was like the little candy bar they had inside.
Well, here's the thing: is that they're based off of military MREs.
Yes,
that's what they are. They're military MREs for kids, which isn't a bad thing.
No.
Which just because you like add those two things together does not make it bad.
As you said, it's definitely just for time saving. It's so parents can be like throw the box at them and be like, "There, go to school, eat that for your lunch or something." But it's generally speaking, with what you said, it is much better and easier to just make like a sandwich and then prep them like a little thing of chips, and then having to buy a Lunchable or Lunchly. So
yeah, it's not even about Lunchly to Lunchables.
No, it's that entire concept of the Lunchable system. Really, the little prepackaged MRE baby food. Basically, the entire system is very money grubby when it doesn't have to be. But yes.
And then to go beyond the Lunchly thing, there was Thick of It, song by KSI, which is. Well, here's the problem. Here's the thing that he's gonna hate the most is it's actually pretty good for a YouTuber. It's not a bad song for what he is. The problem is that he wants to be a legitimate musical artist.
Yeah.
The song is not good enough to be anywhere close to that yet.
Here's like what I was like wondering with that song is because I haven't listened to it in full. I've only heard the bits from like the memes and everywhere. Like I'm sure you've seen the meme of like the guy who got in a car accident and was hearing the music and he just reaches over and turns it off. Like that kind of shit's funny.
Yeah.
But from the clips I've heard, the song doesn't sound that bad, and everyone's like making it sound like it's the worst thing they've ever heard. And I don't particularly I don't think it garners that much hate. But what I will say is, just because of what he has done, I think it deserves a form of hate similar.
No, okay. So if I could, drop in right here, right?
Yeah.
I have listened to this song in its entirety.
Mm.
The problems with the song specifically is the lyrics are mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Well, at one point he rhymes ring with ring, but meaning like ring as in boxing ring, and the other one is ring as in telephone. But you're still the same word, so you couldn't come up with anything better than that. And it's really the whole cringe part of saying that he came from the screen to the pen to the king. Yeah, it's like saying that he was the king, and it's like, what are you the king of? You're not the best boxer. You're not the best YouTube music.
He's the king of losing an argument to Dan TDM.
No, that wasn't even an argument. That's the worst part.
Well, yeah, you're right. It was Dan poking him and then him getting fucking upset.
I mean, yeah, it's like that's why. We'll get to that in here in a second.
Yeah, we will. Cause that's funny.
What I was talking about was that he was, I'm the king. It's like, what are you the king of? You lost to boxing, you lost in music, you lost on YouTube. So all the 3 things that you said you're the king of, you lost at? How can you be the king of something that you're losing at?
Yeah,
So it's
and
like,
the one thing I think
it.
that's like going the best for him isn't doing good anymore, which is like Prime and well now Lunchly.
No, the best thing for him is Sidemen, and luckily the Sidemen are
Yeah.
good enough without him that it will sustain. Yeah, the Sidemen don't need KSI anymore. If you want to argue that they ever did, they definitely don't need him now, and they proved that multiple times. So, I think he needs them more than they need him. Not that they would ever get rid of him, but because they're friends. But still,
Yeah.
I'm saying like, in a vacuum, he needs them more than they need him, as far as the Sidemen goes. And then we get to the other half, which was Dan TDM,
Yeah.
who, as everyone I'm sure knows, called out all three of them for. And we're not just gonna bitch about KSI. We're gonna get to the other two here in a minute. Don't worry about it. But while we're here,
Yeah.
he mentioned how it was kind of ridiculous about selling Lunchly.
Let me
I
see if I
think
can
it was
pull it back.
slightly unfair what Dan TDM was saying, although he still has obvious credibility for it. Like he was saying that it's just sad that YouTubers sell a product. I don't think that's entirely true because even Dan TDM sells products. So I think it was a little bit. The good part for Dan TDM was that I think he was more trying to reference the style of what they were trying to, like how they were trying to do it, rather than the actual product itself. Because otherwise, if he's gonna
something I will say in the defense of like Dan TDM and his products, when it comes to like because like KSI even brought it up because there's like a fucking Twitter thing with like the showing of his like tube hero shit and all that. In defense of like those were products that were just strictly like meant for children. Those are literally meant for like toys that children will play with like all the time. But
okay,
the Lunchly shit, there's a lot more to worry about with that than the little toys that kids can actually enjoy playing with. And the way they're handling Lunchlys and shit is a lot worse than the way Dan TDM handled his product.
right?
So, in defense, I think Dan TDM had a much better system of like how he managed his products than I think KSI and Logan and Paul and all them are dealing with theirs.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah.
I still think that he has credibility to what he's saying, even if I don't fully agree with what he's saying. Because you mentioned that they were two different types of products. I don't think it really matters. At the end of the day, everyone has choices. You could choose to buy any product that you want. It's a free market. You are actively choosing. He's saying he can also, at one point, seem to be referencing the idea that they're super popular, so they're using their popularity to sell things. That's literally how you sell products.
Yep.
So that's not really even an argument. Some people later put words in Dan TDM's mouth saying that he wasn't talking about food. He wasn't talking about products. He was talking about food specifically. To which I also don't really see the issue with, because KSI already has a food brand with sides, and you're not bitching about sides. So now you're just Dan TDM didn't say this. This is people talking for him. But to those people, if you're not going to bitch about sides, why bitch about this? Like, if it feels like you're pulling, you're very targeting just one, even though they're the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If you want to say that one's prepackaged meals, does that really matter? That's both food industries. Like, now I feel like you're just picking at straws here to try to grasp at anything.
It's definitely not like an amazing showcase of what's been like going on with that shit.
Yeah, but to get off of them, I guess it's to shift to Logan, who is probably me in Lunchly specifically, he is the worst offender.
Yeah, well, he's the worst at everything, so it's fine.
Maybe we'll get to that. So for him, I am obviously not female, therefore I could not get pregnant or have kids. But if I were in a mindscape, and my husband was trying to not only sell a product, but using my birth to sell the product, I would be livid. Like, you're in secondary house for a few months. Like, fuck the couch, you're out. Like, that is absolutely not okay. And it's like he's so not only just manipulative, but everything that he does is the worst route you could possibly take. And he still seems confused about why everyone hates him.
Need we remind everyone about the fucking that weird Pokemon game he was making for Crypto Zoo or whatever the fuck it was called, where
Yeah.
he pulled the rug out on so many people, lost people like millions of dollars, and then was sitting there like, how did it happen? Like, boy, you hired the people, you knew who they were. It's like, come on. Then he had the audacity to like fucking attack, what was it, CoffeeZilla, for like showing everyone, like, keeping him in line effectively, and it's just fucking ridiculous. I think he threatened to sue CoffeeZilla like 2 or 3 different times, and then immediately had to back out because it was just not good for him. It was just a wild time back when that was like happening. So yeah, Logan Paul's not the greatest human being. He doesn't have a great track record, and this shit with like Lunchley and just KSI and all them has not been doing him any better. But yeah.
Give me a second.
We.
All right. Yeah. So I'll just double down on the fact that he is just a naturally awful person, and I think that goes through. It's obviously a nurturing problem where not only is his dad kind of like that, but they grew up in a divorced household and how that affects people. And we're not really here to be psychologists, but there's obviously underlying issues that he never got over, which isn't unnormal, but it's there. It's mentionable.
Something I will say with Logan Paul is he's the type of guy who always tries to save face in like the worst possible ways.
Sorry,
Logan Paul.
Logan?
Yeah. Because I'm immediately reminded of the Forest incident, and I think for a while he was unaware as to what he did until he eventually was just like, okay, I'll apologize now.
Okay, I would say on that is there. I would like if he genuinely changed after that, I would be fine with a statute of limitations that you just gotta leave it the fuck alone eventually. He made a bad thing. Yeah. And it's obvious that he wants everyone to eventually forget about it, but he just keeps fucking up over and over again. Like, it has to be purposeful. To the point it's like, if you don't want people to bring this up, maybe stop doing such awful shit to people.
Yeah, it's hard to forget the clown who's bad at juggling when he still sucks at juggling.
Yeah, sure.
This situation with him is just really bad, and he never makes it any better. He tries so hard. I don't even know if I can say that anymore, because it doesn't feel like he's not even trying to fix himself. It just feels like he's always waving it off and then moving on. It's like, boy, you have so much shit happening. You've gotten through so much bullshit, and you're making it worse. It feels like you're adamantly taking a shovel and digging deeper.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't really think that there's really anything that is gonna change.
No, I don't think there is.
I don't think he's too far.
He, unfortunately, I think definitely is. I kind of want to say KSI's in that direction, but I don't think he has. Okay, so just
I think the difference
I want a preference. Before you get to that, I want a preference. I do not know of any heinous thing that KSI has done. So I don't know if he's done anything that's horrendous on the same level as Logan Paul.
Not
with that in mind. I think he has a lot higher of a chance of pulling out and fixing himself than Logan Paul did.
So what I'm saying is, like, while he has done not as bad stuff as Logan, he's gotten pretty close, but it's a lot less frequent. And it's like you could see he doesn't fuck up in the same area twice. If you know what I mean. Yeah. So it's a little bit more forgivable, but also he has the sidemen. He has friends in the troops. He has friends who care about his feelings, obviously, but will call him the fuck out if they genuinely think that he's wrong.
Did they do anything about? Hold on. Did the sidemen ever do anything about the shit with the Lunchleys?
Yeah, they called him out for it.
I don't watch assignments, so I don't
They called him
know.
out for that. They made fun of him for the song being ass, and
That's funny.
they kept making fun of him for the TDM drama. They're like, no,
Yeah.
they were on the people's side because they
That's
understood
good.
that the
That's
people
good.
were right.
It's always good to have like people who think differently in your own space because it gives you a
point is that
secondary opinion.
The point is that he doesn't have yes men who feel obligated to tell
Yeah,
him whatever
constantly
he wants
tell
to
them,
hear.
you're okay. Everything you're doing is completely fine, even though it's not.
Where Logan 100% does, and his brother's not
Yeah.
much better, if
Oh,
at all.
no. Logan
And
has
which,
had
you know-
like the worst like role models.
Well, his brother's younger, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean just his brother. I mean, like, as you said, like, him being raised the way he was and shit. He has not had a good run of the mill. But, like, aside from that, so, this is the interesting part about this, because I don't entirely know all of what's going on with Mr. Beast. All I remember, the biggest drama that I remember...
right there.
Good lord. The biggest thing I remember hearing was him effectively gambling, or putting gambling in his shit, and which he's not supposed to do. It was like, I think it was about the whole thing of people giving a chance to win these massive rewards and then losing, even though they like travel to places to do his games and shit. They spend like thousands of dollars to join him in his games, and then if they lose, they don't get any repercussion, and thus is like the idea of the gambling side effects or some shit like that. That's like the biggest thing I remember hearing that people were complaining about for a while for Mr. Beast. And I don't even think I'm getting that right, but that's just what I remember, which I will now ask you, because I know you were better at remembering this shit.
So from what I've seen, it's been the Mr. Beast show that's Amazon has gone terribly. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And it's not completely his fault, but he's definitely not aiding the situation nearly as much as he could. Two, you get the few ex-workers who are calling him out on faking a lot of issues. I don't care that it's one of them was that he fakes videos. I don't care that he fakes videos. He makes entertainment. That's what he does. He's in the entertainment industry. He's not in any other industry. And by faking it, I mean they mean he in this case they mean it's not like
rigging the game.
Yeah, it's not necessarily rigging. Like one of them is that they had an in-house guy do a video where it was playing for $10,000, but it was just him. It wasn't he was competing with any other people. It was just him competing against obstacle courses, right? It was kind of like American Ninja Warrior kind of thing, but it was just him. Nobody else was involved. And he's calling him out as like, you know, that was obviously bullshit because he was an in-house guy that they had to do it, and it was all set up. To which I would say, one, it'd be hard to do a lot of the paperwork in order to get people to do an American Ninja Warrior style thing and it not be just in-house people, because it's a little easier when you can do it when they're on your payroll. But additionally, who are you hurting? Like if you go, we're going to give this guy 10 grand if he wins or not, and you find out that it's fake and that he either did or did not get the 10 grand, but he was also an actor, who does that hurt? It's not like he just robbed $10,000 away from, you know, homeless children. It was money that either did or did not exist that was given to somebody that did or did not exist. Like, you're not harming anybody necessarily.
Not necessarily.
So for that, in that specific case, I don't think really anything wrong happened.
I think for that one, the one thing I can say is it makes the idea of the competition feel less weighted. But not to such an extreme that it deserves hate to a visceral level. I think that, as you said, that one's fine. That one's not that bad.
Yeah. And then and then obviously he gets pushed in with the Lunchley stuff because he's a big part of it. That's more of that's probably more of a pick your partners a little bit better, maybe. Like, I don't know if they really want to add Prime into it.
Why would he even choose Logan Paul?
Prime is why.
So dumb. It's so dumb.
But,
okay, no, hold on. No, I need to rip into this one. Okay. Just because a big brand name is on someone's product doesn't mean that this is the person you should join, especially if you know who that person is and you've seen the shit they do. You should not just be like, they have good product.
Well, wait, pause real fast. This is actually important to what you're saying. Mind you, all 3 of these people have done crypto scams.
Oh yes,
Mr.
no.
Beast, KSI, and Logan, all 3 individually did
But-
it.
but
So
you would
they're all
think-
very similar people.
You would think the guy with the biggest crowd would want to save face more than anyone because he doesn't want to
think that.
lose the biggest crowd.
You think that?
But no.
Sometimes you're like, oh, YouTube's getting too easy, so I have to make it hard.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's definitely a part of it.
That's what it
There-
feels like.
There was also something I want to state. I remember hearing about I think it was one of the employees of Mr. Beast. It was where, huh?
I believe what I know. I think I know what you're getting to, and if this is someone who was an ex-employee.
Okay, there might be thinking of two situations, but we'll see what happens. The one I'm thinking of is where it was someone who was doing one of the competitions, and it was someone I think who had to stay up like multiple days to stay in one of the competitions, and they kept fucking with them during it. They would like take these ridiculously bright lights and shit that were for the set, and they would focus them purely on this one person, and it was like slowly driving them fucking mad. Because the person I think for the competition they were doing, I don't know, I think it was like a type of survival thing. I just want to state, I don't know the facts entirely. I could look them up here in a bit, but I don't know the facts entirely. So from what I remember, they were doing like a type of survival thing, and the person had gone without sleep, without a lot of food, and was being shoved under the blinding light of a set stage light, which I don't know if you know, people know this, that's fucking bright.
Oh yeah.
That, like, these
Mind you,
things
okay,
stacked
so
on
the average,
easily makes people
your
go crazy.
average. Yeah, but you're basically, because I actually I have a studio light, so the normal light bulb that you would have in your ceiling, right?
Yep.
That is about a roughly like a third of the power of a studio light. Not third, 3%
Here,
of the power
I'll do some
of
looking
the
up.
studio light. 3%, I believe, is roughly where it is. So it's like, it's a that is an extraordinarily significant upgrade. 97% brighter. That is a lot.
Let me do some quick little looking up here. Let's see here. So I looked up a normal light bulb, and they emit around 40. I think it was 40 lumens. Sorry. 450 lumens. That's for like a normal light bulb. That's like 40 watts or something like that, right? That's in most cases that's it seems like it might be a lot, but it's not for like a normal light bulb. I'm now looking at an actual stage light, and these things, for one, I remember that it said it uses like 40 watts of power. These stage lights use 130 watts. So already you're seeing the power difference that's quite dramatic.
Yeah.
Now let me see what the lumens situation is, because this is the big one, because lumens are the measurement of like how bright a light is, and so the higher the number, the brighter the object, and honestly the more it will get hot, and it will drive you mad if you are standing under this type of thing for far too long. So of course this one website I looked up didn't actually have the freaking lumens. Let me look this up. I'll cut this into efficiency whenever it hits. Let me see. I'm sorry this is taking so long. For some reason, Google is against me on this
You
one.
can cut this out. That's fine.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it being a recording. Oh, there we go. So, okay, let's see, I think, okay, yes, so for, cutting it back now, some stage lights, their lumens go up to, and this is probably a low-end one, 3,600 lumens. And keep in mind, a normal-ass
450.
light bulb was just 400. That
450. Yeah, that's a massive. It's a massive increase,
massive
and that's-
difference.
And,
And
I'm
to
sure
keep in
their
mind,
lights are
that is most likely on the lower end. They were using much bigger ones on the actual set of what Mr. Beast was doing because they had to have the reach.
A point being, to sum this all up, is that is a legitimate war crime against the Geneva Conventions.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
If this story is true, because I guess we don't know that yet, but if that story is 100% true, they committed a war crime.
Yeah. So Mr. Beast has not had a good run of the mill as of late. Oh, and then there's also the other person that happened a while back. This one's a lot earlier news, but it was like one of his friends turned out to be what was it, a pedophile or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
he hasn't had
Tyson,
a good luck with this kind of shit before.
So Chris Tyson, who already not significantly really, but already damaged the brand, which who gives a shit at this point for that with coming out, right?
Yeah.
So it's like once again that was going to happen regardless. So I'm sure Mr. Beast didn't care. In fact, we know they didn't care for that. That's fine. But it's a completely different area code when the DMs leak out and it turns out Ava Chris Tyson at this point had some type of relations with, at the time, a minor. No longer a minor, but at the time a minor while they were a fully grown adult. Which, if you want to get psychology again, shows sexual deviancy, which makes sense given, transitioning, and that's just a thing that happens. Point being is, of course, not everyone's like that, but it happens frequently enough to be, to be noted.
Yeah.
But so this thing happens, and then it was even hinted at the time. It was hinted at that Mr. Beast was even a part of these group chats, just not active in them, right?
Yeah.
Like he was in them, but never looked at them. So that would be like, oh, you weren't complacent in it. It just so happened to happen where you were. It was just out of your field of view.
It was a situation where it's like.
But no, that's not where it ended.
Yeah.
That's not where it ended. So, and then we got a step beyond that. He didn't say anything about it.
Oh, that's right.
He wanted to do this internal investigation, which is the single worst thing you could possibly do, and has backfired immensely. Because then what came out? Turns out he wasn't as completely inactive in those chats as he said he was. Now, it's not a lot. It's very minimal, but he definitely knew about it. Like, it's no longer, he didn't dislike it, but he just didn't even know that it was there because it's just outside of his field of view. Now he looked at it, didn't like it, but didn't also want to call it out either. So he was
turned a blind eye, is what we're
exactly.
Hearing. And that's the worst thing you can do in that type of situation.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's not good, folks. It's really not.
And that's with the current information that we have. So subject to change. But sitting here today, that is currently where we're at as far as that specific thing goes. And then recently, so for us recently, for you it's been 2 weeks. But it also additionally, so by the way, this is all old information by the time you hear this. But anyway, once you get a step beyond that, you get to the actual ending of the investigation, which they already removed Chris Tyson from the company. Didn't really help. And then they did the whole Obama meme where they go, we have surveyed ourselves and we found no issues.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, that's not really how that works, which is everyone immediately called them out for it. Like, but no, we hired a third-party contractor. It's like, yeah, you hired them. They work for you.
Yep.
You pay their bills. They're going to side with you. It's not how this works.
You basically gave them money to approve of your situation, which is just not good. Don't do that.
Yeah, and what immediately happened was the FBI got involved and was like, you know what, fine, we'll investigate you instead. So, you probably didn't want that to happen.
Nope.
They probably weren't expecting that. Not that I think anything too bad will end up happening because of it, because the FBI is fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
But, semantics. You just get a constant runaround of Mr. Beast thinks it's a good idea to not answer anything. but letting your audience just sit there and think of the worst thing possible that you could have done is the worst thing that you could do. You're just because every second you're tarnishing your image, even if it's not true. The court of public opinion is already out on you, and you've done nothing. Not even the smallest little bit. It's never worked. Don't know why people do it, and it's just bad.
Yeah, it's just not good, not being handled well, and they are kind of sucking at it. But to move us on from that conversation, because I think we talked about them enough, we've ripped into them as much as we should. I want to actually bring us over to the movie side of the world currently, because we haven't talked about stuff that's been coming out or has already came out in a while. At least I feel. I'll bring up the first one that comes to mind, because I don't remember if we talked about it or not, and you can tell me if we did, because I have other things we talked about. But the Joker 2. Did we ever talk about that movie?
We did a little bit, yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if we did, but to give people a quick little rundown, it obviously it's a sequel to the original Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix in it. But this one has, I think it was Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, and it was more of a musical than it was an actual sequel, is what it felt like. I think even the creator himself didn't want to make it, but they had him make it anyways, or something like that. But basically, it did so poorly that people have compared it to the Morbius movie, which is a wild take.
It actually performed worse.
It did? Oh, God. So, my perspective of the movie, I don't like musicals to begin with. I really, really don't. I've tried. It's just not my forte. So, innately, I don't have a good viewpoint of that. And everything I have seen on the movie doesn't help its case, because the pacing is weird. A lot of what they do with the Joker in the movie is backwards. They reset what was good about him in the first movie, and then, I was just gonna, spoilers for the end of the movie. They just kill him at the end? And then say another Joker is the actual Joker now? So, it's a little weird how it's handled.
Yeah.
That's my perspective on that movie. Do you have anything you want to say, or we're going to move on to another one? Because I got a few other movies I can talk about.
So, I didn't really watch the first one. I watched the highlights, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And I already didn't like it. People were talking so much, good things about the first movie, but it was terrible. It wasn't a good movie. But
It was very,
even
I think,
worse.
boring.
No, not really boring. Just like for me, who is into DC Comics and understands the Joker, like Heath Ledger's Joker was already not the Joker.
No.
Very good acting, fantastic, but it also was not the Joker at the time. The Joker, maybe like through the comics, because of his performance, became a little bit more like him, but that is not who the character was. Similarly, in this new Joker movie, that is not who he's ever been. And then they went back on it and saying, well, it wasn't him the whole time, which is even more stupid.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, if you're going to make a character about this legend, or you're going to make a movie about this legendary character, make a fucking movie about him. Like, don't like tiptoe around it. Make a movie about the Joker.
Give us a full-on rated R Joker movie that just goes batshit crazy.
That too. But even beyond, you know what? I don't care that Lady Gaga was casted as Harley Quinn. I don't even care that it was really a musical. I think it's a little bit stupid, but there have been Joker musicals in the past that have worked. I bet you didn't know that, but there have been in animated films. So that we know for a fact that can work. The problem, for me, the biggest issue in the movie is you made Harley Quinn an inmate.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn is an inmate in the asylum. Mind you, the easiest thing you could have done, because he's already in the asylum, have her be his doctor.
Like they do in everything else?
Because that's who she is. She is originally his therapist, and he turns her to the dark side. Which is now completely impossible, because even if that wasn't the Joker, and the other Joker is in Arkham Asylum now, how is she going to get out of Arkham Asylum, become a doctor, then come back? They would never allow that.
They've effectively wasted potential. Sorry, I was away getting a drink because I'm realizing my throat's getting dry. But yes, they effectively wasted the potential of both of those characters.
Harley Quinn is such a good character, and just to completely throw her in the trash for no reason. It's so like, and the Suicide Squad did it a little bit, but not nearly as bad.
No. Something also to note: Lady Gaga's performance wasn't bad. We're not ripping on her. We're ripping on the specific
character.
depiction.
We didn't rate the character. Yeah.
Yes. I also 100% agree. I whenever I had first heard about the movie and saw what they were doing with Harley, I was immediately upset because I preferred the old style of Harley where she was a psychiatrist. She was a doctor to the people that were in Arkham. And then she finds the Joker, and then everything goes from there. It's like, I liked that part because it was simple, but it was good. It made sense. And it was interesting to see a person who you would assume to be the most mentally stable suddenly switch and not be as stable as they were before. And it was just really cool to see that transformation, to see how persuasive the Joker really is. That even someone as mentally grounded as a psychiatrist could be unwound by his allure. That was really good, but no, they fucked that shit up in the other movies. But going on from that, let's talk about a sequel to a movie I honestly didn't think we would get. Beetlejuice.
I didn't watch it, so I can't really.
I didn't watch it myself, but I have heard a lot of people's opinions on it, and I'm kind of glad the opinions are generally it's an okay movie, because that means it's survivable. Like, you can watch it and you won't have too much of an issue with it. I have heard that they don't handle a lot of like character progression very well. Like, there are some characters that exist that don't particularly need to. That, like, if you take them out of the story won't really change that much. That's the biggest complaint I've heard, is that you can have some characters just completely removed and the story will be fine. Because they don't handle the story well. But because it's a Beetlejuice movie and it's not really meant to be taken to an obscenely serious extent, then you can kind of change things in like a different manner or whatever. Thank you.
Well, in my mind's
been given
eye, I
food.
think in my mind's eye, one of the biggest issues is because I like Jenna Ortega overall.
Yeah.
But the problem is that she was and she kind of plays the same character and everything, but coming right off the heels of Wednesday, it just felt like you were doing Wednesday, but here. Because it's pretty much the same character. So it's like you're not really changing too much. There's not a huge gap between the two of them. And it's like, and I haven't seen the movie. I feel like they just pressed the original characters too much. What I mean by that is, like, Michael Keaton or Beetlejuice is only in the original film for like 4 minutes and like 13 seconds. Like, Beetlejuice is barely in the original film very purposefully. So I don't know how much screen time he got in the second movie, but I'm going to assume it's a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of ruins the feel for me, and apparently for a lot of people.
I 100% agree. It's a good example of this, honestly, to me, is like one of my favorite movies is The Mask. As much as I wish he was in the movie as the green-faced character more, I understand why in that movie they separated him a lot more, because they want, when the mask appears on screen, they want you to feel like you're going to enjoy the scene a lot more, and they do because they withhold him for so much. And it's the same for Beetlejuice.
It's the same thing as like you wanting to see him in the mask more is the reason why they don't show him. They want him to keep coming back.
It makes him, when he appears, so much better. And that's why the original Beetlejuice was so good, because when he appeared, he was a super wacky, zany, like, very perverted person, but it was just a really funny character. And in this new movie, he is in there a lot more. He's effectively more the central focus of the movie than he was in the original. But to the leniency of the movie, they did stick to the character's like actions. He actually feels like Beetlejuice from the original movie, which is good.
Okay.
Because a lot of sequels don't do that, which is strange that happens, but it does. And so at least with that, the characters have, from what I can tell, remained the same. It's just time has passed. That's the big deal. And what I will say is, thank God they did that and didn't just like 180 the characters and their perspectives. Because I feel like in a lot of movies, and TV shows, when there is like a time skip, it feels like the character unwinds themselves in most things, and it's just like, where and why did this happen? It doesn't make any sense. That's what I hate the most in some movies, is when a character becomes a completely different character in like another movie. It's like, this person I know for a fact would not do any of this stuff that you are making them do, and it hurts my soul to watch you do this.
Yeah, it happens all the time, sadly.
Yeah. On to I guess I'll go to this one because it's probably more prominent than the other one. Venom: The Last Dance. I have issues with the Venom series movies because
I didn't watch The Last Dance, so I can't really comment on it.
it's fine. You don't really need to because it's not amazing. Here is my take on the movie. I don't think it's bad. I think it could have been handled a lot better. My biggest issue.
I know that you're wait. I know that you're into the comics, and as much as I did say that I would prefer a closer comic book to Joker, mine was, first, second movie were both issues. You can. I feel free to hate on all three, but if you're going to specifically go to the third one for going off track as far as the comics goes, I think it's a little unfair. But anyway, you go on.
Hold on. Mom gave me a giant bowl of ramen noodles, so I was trying to eat. While you were talking, I was taking a bowl to eat.
Okay. Well, yeah. But I just think that as much as you might sound potentially hypocritical based on how you take my dislike of the Joker. I feel like we also have to remember that they're movies, that they're never going to be.
Yeah, they have different continuities.
And I do understand that. That's why I do really like Heath Ledger's Joker, because it is different, but I understand that it's a movie. Yeah. It has to be different.
My take, however, is the pacing. My biggest issue is the pacing. And I'll take this back a bit. I'll start from the first movie and then keep going. In the first movie, you're introduced to Venom, and then you're introduced to another symbiote. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. I think it's like this is the first Venom movie. I think his name was like Ravage or something like that.
First one is okay. I remember because second one is Riot, right? Or Carnage. Second one is Carnage.
Wait, no, I think you're right. Riot is the one in the first movie.
So it's Red Riot, then it's Carnage, and then I don't know what's in the third one.
We'll get to that one. So in the first movie, the first one you're introduced to is Riot. Inherently, obviously, with the comic book issues, that's a big issue because Riot is born from Venom. He is technically another one of the test subject sons, test tube babies sons type of thing. It's weird, but that's not my issue with the movie. Because again, you have to separate the continuities. My issue is the pacing in these movies, because it feels like in the first movie, I do think they handled it better in the first than they do in the other ones. But in the first movie, he learns how Venom works and learns how to meld with Venom really fast, and he goes through a lot of struggles in the movie. Don't forget that part. He does actually get his foot in the door a bit more in the first movie, but there is still this rushed sensation of like he's learning how to use this alien creature as a weapon really quickly. And again, there's a lot happening in the movie, so that you can easily brush it off as that's the big thing right there. In the second movie, that's when it gets a little less interesting, because not only are they rushing his development, they're rushing the development of one of the best Venom enemies! Carnage, the coolest symbiote to date. And they offed him in the first movie, in the second movie. First movie of his reveal, second movie in the chronological order. They offed him immediately. Not like immediately, but at the end of the movie, he was just eaten, literally. Which I atrociously hated, because Carnage is the enemy of Venom. The number one. It is literally his son, child, demon, baby. And there is so much to be done with that. Because Cletus is the enemy of Eddie Brock. He is effectively what if Eddie Brock went into the deep end. And that's why they exist in such a good counterpart to each other. They even kind of mention this in the movie, that they are kind of counterparts. That it's like the Joker quote with like one bad day. The issue is Cletus and Carnage are supposed to be like perfectly intertwined because of how they are created, because he is made through the blood of Cletus. Or he bonds through the blood of Cletus, which none of the other symbiotes really do. And that is why they're so like connected, because they are effectively like one being but separated. They share very close emotional attachment than they do in most other depictions, or most other like symbiotes. But in that movie, they rush through the development of Carnage so fast that they don't have a connection. Like literally, it just feels like they were shooing him off the stage so they can kill him and move on to the third movie, because there was just like so much happening that just did not feel like Carnage, that didn't feel like it had the weight it should have, that they just had to keep moving him off the stage. They just had to keep it going. And I hated that, because Carnage has so much potential, and for them to have squeezed him out that fast and thrown away the towel, like, come on. And then we move on to the last one, the recent one, The Last Dance. I have issues with this because, just like Carnage, where they have a really good villain that should have had a lot more time to build, they then introduce the most terrifying villain in all of, like, Spider-Man and Venom shit. Null. There is a reason this guy should not have appeared in this movie, and it's definitely because he is not a Venom. Null.
No, I've never heard of Null ever.
He's one of the coolest villains, like, that we've seen in a very long while. He is more than an Avengers threat. He more than the X-Men as a threat. He took over the world in the matter of moments, because he is the god of symbiotes. In the lore of the, I think it's also similar to the movie as well, actually. So I'll praise him for that. He is effectively, as I said, he's the god of symbiotes. He created all the symbiotes, but the symbiotes eventually, after a while of existing, revolted against him and sealed him in a planet made of symbiotes. So immediately that's crazy, right? Like billions of symbiotes bound him together to make sure he doesn't escape. That's a wild thing, but it shows you how terrifying he is. But when he got free, this man went on a tirade through the fucking universe. He not only killed and blackened out many planets on his way to Earth, but he managed to enslave Celestials, which, for people who don't know, the Celestials, if you've ever watched any of the movies of recent Marvel stuff, they're the guys who made the Infinity Stones. And he just kind of put them under his whim because he was just that strong. He was so...
That's more manipulation, but yeah.
Well, that's his influence is that strong. His symbiotes are just that terrifying. Because he has control over his own type of symbiotes that he created specifically. I don't remember what they were called, unfortunately, but they were fucking ridiculous. But with this specific character, he's imposing for a very good fucking reason. Like, he swamped most, if not all, of the Avengers. The only one that, like, struggled, not even just Avengers, the only, like, heroes who struggled against him, or that he struggled against for a little bit, was Storm, who is an Omega level mutant. She's ridiculously powerful, like obscene. He beat her eventually, because I think he even made fun of her. He was like, "You're nothing but a little spark in the wake of my destruction." Literally just snubbed her out. Thor, he actually had a good tussle. Thor knocked his actual jaw off, sent it flying, and then he just reconstructed his jaw using symbiote matter. But eventually, even Thor himself got beaten, and that was a cooler fight. But then we get to an interesting situation. The Sentry. For those who do not know of Marvel lore, the Sentry is Marvel's Superman. He is ridiculous. There's an argument that he could actually easily beat Superman, depending, much like in most arguments, depending upon the version you use. But he is, as stated, he's the comparable relation to Superman that Marvel has. And I kid you not, he had like maybe 4 panels of fighting Null before Null literally split him in half. Took him by leg and head and split him in half.
All right.
then
So you said all of this. Uh,
this is just to show you the scale, right?
No. In the comics, no. But here's to show you the ridiculous of it. In that same comic book series, what happens at the end?
So what happens at the end is, in this specific comic book series, the way they finally defeat Null is this universal energy that has apparently been the counter to Null manifests or trying to find Eddie Brock, the guy who has been trying to fight him off this entire time. And it finally finds him and it's like, you are the one I've been looking for. I've been trying to find a way to help you people beat Null, but I needed a proper host. You are the one I've been looking for. And then he bonds this energy that is the polar opposite of Null, bonds with him, and then you get the best panel of him fighting Null, where I love it so much. But there is a panel where
it's a Deus Machina thing. It's like, oh, conveniently, the one power that can possibly defeat him shows up at the one possible time we needed it the most.
Kind of, but kind of not, because unlike a lot of those, they actually build up its arrival through most of the story. Because eventually they have, I think it's Reed Richards. They have Reed Richards helping do some shit with Eddie Brock, and then when this power shows up, he then is like, oh shit, I now understand everything, and then he breaks everything down, and he helps you basically connect the dots as to what's been happening, and then you're just like, oh, that makes actually a lot of sense. So it's like they trickled the idea of all this happening. It wasn't something that was just manifested immediately. It's something that's been built up to it. So at least they did that. But yes, in a sense, it's very similar to the Deus Ex Machina, where just power appears, they helps them win. But the reason this specific ending was so good is because we got to see for the first time a villain look at what he's about to face and be like, oh shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here. He turns away, tries to run away from Venom. Everyone listening, just go read the comics with Null. They're so fucking good. They're so good. But going back to the movie with all this information tech, you know how big of a threat he is now. He is not one to be quickly shoehorned into a movie. He is supposed to be given time. He's supposed to be given the Thanos effect. But no, 3 movies, and he appears.
Well, let's be honest. Let's not act like he's anywhere near the popularity that Thanos was. So it makes
at the time definitely. Well, honestly, he's not as popular, but he was very popular because he is probably the only reason that movie might have had numbers. He is incredibly well known right now in Marvel because of just how prominent that run was. It did really well, but obviously I'm not going to act like he is more popular than Thanos, because you're barely going to find a villain that is as popular as Thanos. It's similar to like someone like Darkseid. Those two have very similar things, and their crowds are both similarly popular. But with the movie and how they handled Null, they just shoehorned him in really fast. And keep in mind, they didn't do the thing I was worried about the most, which is they didn't kill him. He just remains contained somewhere, and he's upset that he still is in prison. But they didn't kill him. That's good. That's really good. That they didn't just offer be like, and Venom is suddenly strong enough to kill the god of symbiotes. They didn't do that. I'm thankful for that. But the fact that he was already shown off and shoehorned into this series so fast, it irks me so bad, because there was barely any build-up for this. It felt like you had no time to understand what was happening. And to make it worse, in the movie, they proved my point by showing off 5 or 4 different symbiotes, only to have them killed 5 minutes after they're revealed.
Yeah.
Why? Why is the pacing so bad? But yeah, that's my shtick with the Venom movies. Their pacing is garbage, and I will never enjoy them for that reason. But, I guess going on from that, the only other movie that I really want to talk about, and I don't think you've watched it, maybe? You ever heard of The Wild Robot?
No.
Okay. I hadn't either for the longest time. I love how you're 3
for 3, though. Yeah,
I am.
Let's talk about movies, and I haven't played.
Never seen any of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's very prominent to like that one like game we did a while back where it was like you kept mentioning like girls from video games that I had no idea who they were. But the reason I was specifically going to bring up this movie isn't really to talk about too much, because I don't want to spoil anything. I have seen a lot of this movie from YouTube Shorts, to the extent where I actually know pretty much what generally happens. I don't like to watch movies a lot. This movie I might actually go watch at some point soon, because everything I've seen, it's such a good looking movie. The story is very nice. It's very sweet. It's very wholesome. And the characters are adorable in their own little fashion. But to me, the thing that I like the most about this movie, that I do not see in a lot of movies nowadays, is the movie has heart. It has a soul of its own. It feels like an actually well put together movie. And the best thing I like about it the most is it gives me WALL-E vibes. I loved WALL-E. WALL-E was like one of the best movies ever. And the fact this movie can give me a similar feeling is a really good sign. So for people who haven't seen it, like Kiwi, and I technically haven't watched the full movie, but I've seen most of it, go watch The Wild Robot. It looks like a genuinely good movie. It looks like there was a lot of effort and love put into this movie, and I do recommend actually watching that, because you don't get a lot of that anymore. Not a lot of movies have like this soul to them that's genuinely good. I do recommend The Wild Robot because of that, because it feels like there is something there. There is worth within this movie. And that is all I will say on that movie, because again, I don't want to spoil anything, because it is a good movie. But do you have anything you want to talk about, or do you want to move on to the games? It's up to you.
As far as movies go, no.
All right, I'm gonna eat a little bit more ramen noodles for a second. Oh.
We're just gonna sit here in awkward silence. They won't know.
They won't know the silence. Oh shit! The silence will not appear for them, but it will for us. Okay. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit of time to set this up, because I do got to get something on the screen. Just because I think it would be kind of funny. Give me un momento, por favor. Alright guys, welcome back to Game Time. It's time we do a tier list of restaurants.
This is gonna be such a hard episode to title.
No, I think it won't be too bad.
Mr. Beast food tier list.
Birthday talk food tier list, Mr. Beast. KSI. Yeah, Venom Last Dance. But yes, yeah. we have a big old list that I had to conglomerate myself of a lot of the restaurants that are within our general area that I think we have probably visited. I don't know. But I tried to grab a list of things and just to get us going on that. But yes, we're gonna do this. I will also state that this specific tier list that is on the screen for people who are watching, I will have linked in the description. You can actually join and play on this one, and then send us your results on our Discord. So you can also join in the fun on this one. And Kiwi, if you want to, I can also send you the link so you can join along while I set up this. Unless you want us to just do it like this.
Oh no, we're gonna do it together.
Cool. All right, that's what I was wanting. Okay, so with that being said, Applebee's. where do you think it lies on the scale for you?
Applebee's is kind of like meh. Like, it's not bad that I've ever been there, but I've only been there like maybe 5 times ever. So I would say it's like the most average thing ever.
I have had it. I generally go to it, as you said, very rarely. For me, it's like something I do for Father's Day, because they have like this thing where it's like, if you get like generally the same like level of meals, they'll give you a discount for it. So me and my dad will go there and we'll do that. We'll both order similar meals and then we'll get the discount. So it makes Father's Day a little cheaper, but also makes it good because we get really good food. I would put them at good myself, but you said average. I'm also fine with it being average because yes, it's not food to write home about.
No,
it's not amazing.
To me, it was the most average experience.
Yeah. Arby's. I do not like Arby's. I think they are. I don't think they're horrible. I think they're bad. What do you think?
Arby's. I actually like Arby's. I like Arby's a lot. I would put them at high good. Like, I wouldn't put them at great. They're not great, but I would put it at high good because you're not always feeling the roast beef sandwich, but when you are, not only is it the only place to really get it, but like it fucking slaps. I have
funny.
never been to I don't go to Arby's a lot. I mean, I don't really get fast food a lot anymore. But even back in the day, we didn't get Arby's a lot. But when we did, it fucking slapped.
I never
I'm gonna
enjoyed
stand on
their
this.
roast beef sandwiches.
Really, I mean, you just don't like
No.
roast beef, I guess, which is fine.
Maybe not.
But I always enjoyed them. But above that, they had the best fries. I'm gonna stand on that.
I
Standing.
don't know about that one.
McDonald's fries are good.
They're
better.
good. I don't particularly care for
Actually,
McDonald's
no.
fries, but I have places that
I just realized something that's on this list. I believe they're on this list. I think I saw them.
There's a few
They're on
places
this
that have
list.
really good
Okay,
fries.
so they're not okay. This is the Arby's is not the number one fry on the list, but it's high up there. I would put it
All
at
right.
good.
To even ground us, I'll put it at low. I guess above Applebee's. Kind of like even out, because you said high good, I said bad, so it kind of evens out above.
You think they're
generally
bad?
above average. I don't like them. Every time I've tried to have Arby's, I've never enjoyed it.
I mean, like I said, if you just don't like roast beef, then you're kind of out of
Yeah.
luck there, I guess. Outright.
Exactly, because that's kind of like Arby's big thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's unfortunately
It's
my
like-
taste
it's
buds
like- it's like-
disagree with
Well,
it.
we're gonna get to this point where it's like, oh, KFC, but I don't like chicken. So it's like, then you're gonna hate all of them. Like, I'm not saying that you
No.
do, but I'm saying like that's the equivalent.
Well, I mean,
uh,
roast beef and like general like actual like burger beef are very different tastes.
No, they are.
So we won't
That's
run
what I'm
with
saying.
that.
Is what I'm saying is like, if you don't like chicken, then you're gonna rate KFC low. You don't like roast beef, so you're gonna rate.
Well, I
them
mean,
low.
chicken tastes
You don't
different
like what
based
they
on
have.
the place you go to.
That
you
is
can
true,
have-
but I'm saying like, fundamentally, you do not like the thing that they serve.
Well, yeah, I mean, in that sense, yes, their specific brand of beef is not my favorite. That's where I'm at least on that. I mean, I give it a high average because it's kind of like in between the both of us.
Okay.
But, anyways, Burger King.
I think it's fine.
Burger King. I'm gonna be honest. I think this one is low average.
I would put them at bad.
I'm honestly fine with that. I have not enjoyed
Yeah.
Burger King in a very long time.
Well, here's the thing: is every time I go to Burger King, I'm like, I wish I could go to somewhere else. Like-
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is the feeling. Is like it wasn't bad, but I would have rather gone somewhere else.
hmm
So it's like you can't.
It's
You
not
can't really
amazing.
slap for me. You're like that.
Yeah. Cheddar's Scratching Grill.
Cheddars. we
Cheddar's is
have
actually
one,
pretty good.
and they are pretty good. They're a little bit more sit down than than most
They
of the
are.
things on this list. Which I mean, we have a few sit down places like Applebee's on the list, so it's not like out of place, but
Yeah.
it's a bit different from fast food. But I mean, I would like them. I don't know if they're like top tier,
No.
so I would either put high average or low good.
I'm thinking kind of low good.
Okay.
Because
I can get by.
I kind of agree. They're not like they're no Texas Roadhouse, but they are pretty good.
No.
Speaking of pretty good, Chick-fil-A. I'm inclined to say they're good, just outright. Nothing super special to me, at least, when it comes to Chick-fil-A. But I think they're good. I've enjoyed their chicken for the most part. They're not my favorite chicken place, but they're pretty good. Maybe high average.
Here's the thing: is I've never had a bad trip to Chick-fil-A. I would put it at
Yeah.
great. I don't think it's number one on the list, but I would say that it's goated.
Okay.
The only problem I have with them is that they're not open on Sundays. 'Cause,
Yeah,
it's always
yeah.
like Sundays you think about,
Well,
you're like, oh, let's go to
I'll-
Chick-fil-A, and then you're like,
I'll
oh,
put
no.
them at great because also I can't forget they have killer waffle fries. They have really good waffle fries. I enjoyed their waffle
Yeah.
fries every time I get them. Chili's. I haven't experienced
Hi,
this
welcome
place.
to Chili's. I'll be honest, I've been to Chili's, I think, once, and it was not good.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same actually. I went to it once and I had a horrible time. The reception was ass.
Yeah,
it took me an hour to get a drink.
Yeah, I would put them. This is the first I'd put it horrible.
I would
Yeah,
also put it at horrible.
I would never actively choose to go to Chili's, and if someone said, "Hey, let's go to Chili's," I'm like, "Haha, funny
Yeah.
meme. Let's go somewhere else."
Please choose anywhere else but Chili's. Okay.
I'll give you this: chopsticks. I've never been.
I've been a lot. It's great. To me, it's one of my favorite like Asian food restaurants.
Yeah, we have
and
a lot of local ones that I always go to, so I've
well,
never been to this.
I thought Chopsticks was local, but apparently they actually have. They are more. There are more than just the place that we have. There are places that are nearby as well, but there are more just across the state or the country. Because I thought this was local, but no. Apparently, it's also a name brand. It's just a slow rising one. But I actually really like Chopsticks.
Yeah, this is all on you.
I'm putting this actually above Chick-fil-A for me because.
Whoa!
No. I'll explain. Also, I don't think it'll
You're
let
acting like
me.
this is like a.
Do I have to put it?
Yeah,
No,
you did it that way, but it's like you're acting like this
Okay.
is goated.
It is, and I'll tell you because the people there are goated.
Well, that doesn't really count because that's the one
The
restaurant.
people are the restaurant.
No, they're not. The food is the restaurant.
Well, yeah, but if you have bad people
If I go
working
to a
at it, then you're not going to get any
Chick-fil-A
good
here and then I go
food.
to a Chick-fil-A in Tennessee, they're not going to be the same people.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that is true. But I still think it tastes. Okay, so if we're going off food alone, I still think it's better than Chick-fil-A. I have had a much better time eating Chopsticks than I have had with Chick-fil-A. Because you get a fuck ton more for a lot less.
Yeah, maybe I'll go to Chopsticks at some point, and I'll update my.
For my personal experiences, Chopsticks is goated. I love Chopsticks.
Okay.
As I said before, the people are good.
I'll let you do this. You get one pure goat, and I get one pure.
All right, that's fine. I'm more than happy with putting Chopsticks as a pure goat because let me just explain something. You know you go to a good restaurant when the people there remember you and remember your order to a T.
We live in the South. Like
Yeah,
we're
but I have
Southern
gone to many
hospitality.
restaurants and not one have I had them look at us and be like, "You want this, this, this." Not one. I've gone to many.
They're not supposed to. That's the reason why. Because
Well,
what if you want something else? So it's like
Well,
just
no,
because
they
they don't
don't-
remember you or they do remember you.
No, I'm saying they don't like just immediately jot it down. They ask, "Is this what you're wanting?" And I will almost always say yes, because they get it right every time. But that's what I mean though. They're a very, very comfortable restaurant. I like that. But moving on from that, Cracker Barrel. This is an interesting one because this one I think is like different based on how old you are.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a bad experience at Cracker Barrel, but they've never been like mind blowing.
No,
So I would put them probably at low good, probably underneath Cheddar's.
I actually kind of agree. My thing with them is like they don't give you a lot for how expensive they are.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue. Their food, it's okay. It's not amazing. It's low good, as you said, but it's still good food. And they do put like just some heart into it, but it's not beating Cheddar's.
3, 2, 1. He's the goat. He's the goat.
Is
It's
this your-
fucking Culver's. They are the goat. Yeah, 100%. Culver's is fucking elite.
They are
Like-
really good. Okay.
Like, because I don't know about you guys, but cheese curds, we have them here, and they're fucking awesome. They do spicy ones. Oh, they're just so good.
They actually do a
going
lot
to
of
Culver's
spicy
is a
food.
fucking treat. I love. I'm gonna give you a little secret here. I love malt and I love milkshakes. I am a sucker for a good milkshake, and they got both. They got both. I've rolled up straight to like one of the like 4 fucking windows because I don't know why they have 4 there, but they have like 4 windows. I roll up to them, and then they're like, basically what you said about chopsticks, where it's like,
Yeah.
boom, straight out. Here you go. It's always good. I've never had a bad experience. They've always been just elite when I
That was
go
funny.
there.
The one thing I will say that is really good about Culver's is their waffle cone ice cream. I like it when you can get a waffle cone ice cream and they like that when they ask for the size and shit and you're just like, I want this. Like if you just get like a normal, right? They'll still give you a fucking giant ass scoop of ice cream. I love that.
Yeah.
I love when I ask for a normal size ice cream and they still give me a fuck ton. I'm just like, oh, my fat body is ready for this. I love Culver's for that. I don't think it's better than
Culver's.
Chopsticks for me, but I'm willing to put it like in the general area.
I'm saying at this point, great is just
Yeah.
all around. Like
All around
they're,
good.
they're not really in a specific order at this point.
Basically, what we're imagining if we were separating our list, these two would be swapped for him, and this would be the way it is for me.
Basically, those 2 are just above the rest, no matter
Yes.
Yeah, they're not
and
one is above the other. There's equally up there.
speaking of ice
Goats.
cream, Dairy Queen.
So here's the thing: is the food at Dairy Queen is always mediocre, but
Well,
the ice cream is fucking dominant.
Okay, I actually have to defend them on this. They have the best chicken in the entire town that we live in.
Bull fucking shit.
No, I have tried
What?
chicken, specifically chicken tenders. I have tried chicken tenders from almost every place that has them in this list.
Dairy Queen
and
chicken
they're
tenders
the
are
one.
bland as fuck. You're so old. You're so
No,
old,
they're
man.
not. They're not.
They're
They're
bland.
seasoned. They have seasoning.
They're not seasoned.
They have a
Anytime
taste.
I've ever gone,
They have a
bland.
taste.
They're bland. They taste like chicken.
They're not-
Like,
no,
with
they
spices,
taste
they're
like good chicken. Their chicken is
no.
really good. Out of most of these places, it's really good. But their main thing isn't the chicken, unfortunately. As much as I would love to say it's the chicken, it's not. It's their ice cream. Or specifically, probably their blizzards. Because they have killer blizzards based on the season that you are in with them. I like almost all their seasonal-based blizzards. I think my favorite is still the pumpkin pie blizzard. It just hits different when you eat it. A close second for me would be their s'more blizzard, but they are really good. I'm honestly fine with putting them at probably high good, just because of the situation with the food, or at the back end of great. I don't know where you are with Dairy Queen.
What did you say you were?
I'm saying either like the back end of great or the top end of good.
I would say
Just
top of the good.
I'd be fine with that because their ice cream is just so fucking good. It's one of the best in town.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Okay, so we're going to separate this. Is this
This is
normal
fine.
Denny's or 2 a.m. Denny's? Because they are two totally different experiences.
I'm gonna put this at 2 a.m. Denny's because I don't ever go to Denny's at any other
2
time of
a.m.
day.
Denny's is definitely like behind Dairy Queen.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like normal
it's
Denny's,
really
normal
good.
Denny's is like behind Applebee's, but 2 a.m. Denny's is above Cheddar's.
It's really good when it's like late night Denny's.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do you even say? There's a reason
Yeah.
why it's its own entity.
Yeah, it's crazy how it has lasted longer than a Waffle House here. Domino's Pizza.
I don't like Domino's.
I'm kind of more putting it at like average, back end of average. I think that's basically all it is, really.
I can concede to that.
Now this is interesting. Feta pizza. I'm gonna let you, if you've ever figured this one out, I'm gonna let you see where you want to put this, and then I'll get my point.
I have never been to Feta.
You've never been. Okay, wonderful.
I've never been to Feta.
I do not like Feta's pizza. I think they are horrible. And I'll give you many reasons why. One, I don't think their pizza tastes very good. It could have a lot more into it that would make it more appealing, but they don't. But the worst part of it is that their pizza falls apart more than any pizza I've ever eaten. When you get a meat lover's pizza and you pick it up, you want all that meat to stay on that damn pizza. You want it holding tight and holding strong, so when you take a bite, you get a bite of everything. But when I pick up a fucking slice of Feta's pizza, it's like an avalanche. It just splits down the middle, and you're just sitting there with a fucking slab of bread. I'm sorry, that's not a good pizza for me. Like, come on.
I'll take your word for it.
That shit just pisses me off. Five Guys.
I've never been to Five Guys. I just know they're super expensive.
They are. But their food, okay, what I will say is their food is really good. It's actually really good. But it's way too expensive for what it is.
Can I point out that I haven't eaten in like 17 hours or whatever, and this is not good.
Good lord.
I'm fucking starving. And we're sitting here talking about food. I'm like,
That's so funny. That's such a funny time.
we have tons of food. We have tons of food at the house, like already made.
You
I
just
can
haven't
go in there and
eaten.
warm it up. But from what I've been doing earlier, as far as editing goes, as far as like my stream and now this, I was like, I just haven't been able to eat.
That's
like,
funny.
It's like that one dude, like that one meme with the dude at the school who's like super like fucking stressed, right?
Yeah.
it's like that.
That's funny though. But with Five Guys, as I said, their food is really good. They're just too expensive. I'm kind of thinking just high average because I do think they're better than Arby's when it comes to like. I think they're better than Applebee's, I guess, in a sense, because I can't really defend Arby's or put it anywhere near Arby's. But their food tastes really good. It's just that the price is just not good at all. It's more expensive, I think, than Cracker Barrel. But yeah, I don't know. Hardee's nuts. Oh,
Shut up. I like Hardee's is pretty fucking good though.
I think had
they get
it
a bad
once,
rap
and I
for, like,
don't remember what it was, what it tasted like, so I can't really put this
I'll
one
say
on there
this,
for me.
do you know, I forget what, tater tots essentially? They're like
Yeah.
little rings instead. If you're gonna get them anywhere, that is where you get them. I don't know about Hardee's, normal food, but their breakfast is better than McDonald's, 100%.
That's a surprise.
100%. Like I would stand on that full force.
I will
would
have
put
to
them
try that
in
sometime.
between Dairy Queen and Denny's. I'm not saying
Really?
overall they're better than McDonald's. I'm saying specifically in that one category they are. So that's where
Yeah.
I would put them, right there.
All right, that's fine. Huddle House. This is an
They're pretty
interesting
much-
one.
To me, it's like Denny's but light.
I actually think, I think they're more comfortable than Denny's. I don't think they have the Denny's vibe, but I definitely think
only
their
been to
food
a
is
Huddle House, like,
way
once.
better. I have been there a lot, mostly to like go there with my mom because she likes breakfast foods.
Yeah.
But they have killer breakfast food. Like, I think it's the best in town when it comes to breakfast food. So you said between Denny's and what? Actually, wait, where did you?
I said they're a Denny's light, so I put them like between Arby's and Applebee's.
Arby's and Applebee's. I kind of think it's because it doesn't have that same vibe, but is still, I think, tastes better. I'm kind of more inclined to put it behind Denny's, maybe a little above Cheddar's. I don't know. What do you think on that?
For me personally, I would stand that they're pretty average, so I put it to Arby's, Applebee's, but I guess take the medium of us two.
I will put it in if I can. Okay, I got to do it like this. I'll put it in front of
guys.
I'll put it in front of Five Guys because funny enough,
Okay.
our store, our Huddle House is right next to Five Guys, so it is kind of funny. But regardless of that, I do think it's better than Five Guys. I do think it's tastes better than Denny's, but I do think the vibe of Denny's at 2 a.m. is just immaculate. You can't really beat that comfortable vibe of late night Denny's. Unfortunately, I don't think you can. But going on from that, IHOP.
To me, it's kind of in the same boat. Like,
I think it's actually worse than Huddle House when it comes to the quality of food. I am more willing to put this where you had originally wanted this thing, where you wanted a Huddle House at, where it's just between
sounds
Arby's and
fine to me.
Applebee's. Yeah.
And,
McDonald's!
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
This has to go. Okay, but here's the big question. Is it better than Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
I agree.
No, just like I think Chick-fil-A's food is better, but just as a phenomena across the entire world, nothing really gets better than McDonald's. It'll be
Nothing is
super
better
hard to
than
beat this,
McDonald's.
and I don't honestly think that anything besides our goats will beat it outright.
Yeah.
But there's one that will get close, but I don't think there are any that will beat it.
So, something to remember is when you are hungry and you need food, you don't think of and you're low on money, right?
You think
don't
of those
think to
golden
go to
arches.
exactly. You think of the fucking golden arches. You don't think of the chicken that is wanting to kill cows, or the cow that wants to kill chickens. But anyways, I 100% agree. McDonald's is the GOAT. JJ's Pizza.
Never
Now
even heard of a JJ's Pizza.
This is more local for sure.
Never even heard of them.
We have one near where I live, kind of near. It's not like super close, but we order there pretty frequently whenever we want like good pizza. They have what I like to consider like comic book accurate pizza. You know, where you take a bite and the string cheeses.
Whoa, pause for a fucking minute. I just noticed something. This
What?
list is fucked.
Is it?
This list is fucked.
Okay.
I'm scrolling down the list. I'm doing a little bit of cheating. I scroll down the list. Old Hickory barbecues on here, but not Moonlight. You put one above the other here. What the fuck? Like
No. Okay. Hold on. No. Before you continue, I pulled most of this off of Google. Like I asked Google restaurants. I literally typed in Google restaurants, and I pulled from the list of restaurants that it gave me.
An American president, the only time an American president has ever been inside Owensboro, inside our town, was to go to Moonlight.
That's funny.
And you didn't put him on the fucking list.
Well, again, I forgot about
insulting.
Moonlight. I haven't been there in years, so I kind of forgot it existed.
I mean, they're pretty much the exact same as Old Hickory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, like, whatever I put Old Hickory is where I put Moonlight. But still,
That's funny though.
I can't believe that. Anyway, never been to a JJ's Pizza.
I think they are a really good pizza place. They have really good pizza, and as I said, comic book accurate. It's like the Ninja Turtles pizza where they bite into it and the string cheeses. It's the way you want pizza to feel when you eat into a good chunk of pizza. I am willing to put it at, I think,
That is so high.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to put it behind Cracker Barrel because I
Okay.
just enjoy that place, but I don't want to put it above any of this stuff because I'm going to be honest. I go to these more than I do JJ's Pizza. But their pizza's really good. I can't stress how good like a personal pan pizza is from them. Like I've never had a bad pizza from them that I've like just despised or had any negative thoughts towards. It's always really fucking good pizza. But from pizza, we must now go to chicken. As we go to two of the goats of chicken,
Okay,
KFC.
I want to say one thing that's going to be... I'm a sucker for a pot pie.
Oh, really?
KFC's pot pie is fucking ridiculous.
Mhm.
Like so good.
I've never had their pot pie.
I would put KFC above Denny's, maybe even above Hardee's. I'd put it above Hardee's. I'd put it between Hardee's and DQ.
I'm 100% fine with this because my mom and them don't like going to KFC, but I've never had a bad KFC experience. I've witnessed them having a bad KFC experience, but I've never had a bad KFC experience. I actually love KFC. I love their biscuits. I love their mashed potatoes. I love everything. They're good. But you know what they're not as good as? Lee's famous recipe.
I think they're literally about the same. So like, I would put
I
them
think this
pretty
is
much
above-
together.
I think this is above Dairy Queen. Especially
Yeah,
when talking about like
I
chicken.
think all three of those. I think all three of those is really close anyway. So like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't really care.
Caesar's Pizza.
He's the goat. He's the goat.
Is really good. I would be
fucking good.
more I'd be more inclined to put him at top of good than I would put him at great.
No, I would personally I would put him at great, but I get it. I completely
Yeah.
understand.
Long John Silver's.
Okay, Long John Silver is so bad, but so fucking good at the same time. Like,
I'm so glad you put that to words, cause like why though? Like you hate
funny. Okay,
the after effects, but you love eating it.
you even hate when someone brings it up, but then you go there
Exactly.
and you have a great time while you're there, then you hate it afterward. Like, it's so weird.
Something that I will say that Long John Silver's does also is it has a vibe to the place, and a good one. Like you can go into a Long John Silver's and you'll sit down at a table and you'll feel very good when you're eating there. But then when you leave, that's when everything hits and you're just like, this was a bad idea. But where to put Long John?
Here's the thing. It's such a wild card. I would probably put it above Cheddar's.
I feel that is a fair location for it. Above Cheddar seems like a good plot for that to
But
like stick there.
Long John, but here's the other thing: is I've also never seen a line at Long John Silver's. Anytime I've ever
That's
gone
true.
to Long John Silver's, it's just me there, and I don't understand how they're still in business.
Well,
But
I
it's
guess
weird.
yeah. If you're talking about more recent, yes. Back in the day,
I'm
I
just saying in
definitely remember there
general.
being lines.
I'm just saying, like, maybe it's just a time frame that I go, but it's every time I've ever been there.
Yeah.
It fucking goes
Okay.
down. I'm like, okay. What is
So
that?
this is
that
called
Roja Hacienda?
Mikado. No,
I
this
never
is
been to a fucking
Mikado.
Mikado.
I've been to it once, and
Yeah, I've never been to a fucking Mikado.
it's not amazing. It's not it's good. It's an Asian restaurant, like most ones. It's good. It's not amazing. It's nothing to write home about. One of my friends used to go there religiously, and I just couldn't get behind it. I tried, I just couldn't. They're really expensive, but they do have high quality food. And I think they also have one of those bars where they cook in front of you, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but like, you know. New China. I have issues with New China.
Oh God, don't be racist. No, I haven't been to it in a long time, but I remember like being a kid, it was fucking elite. But it would probably be super ass now. So like, I could only say that it would be pretty average.
I'm fine with putting it on average because their food is good. It tastes good. But much like Long John Silver's, it has a horrible aftermath. You don't feel good at the end of all your food. And that's not how you want to feel after eating at a place.
But sometimes, but here's the thing: is that occasionally you do. Like occasionally you're like, fuck it, who cares? No,
because
like from time to time, you know that you've like, you know this is gonna hurt. But
Yeah.
fuck it, it's gonna taste so
Here,
good.
I'll put it at top of average because also it's a
Mind
buffet.
you, that is
so that's
every
good.
Taco Bell. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
every Taco Bell. I know I'm gonna hate myself for this, but fuck, I need it.
Excuse me?
What?
What did you say?
I said it was like every Taco Bell experience. I don't want it, but fuck, I need it. That's what I said.
That's okay. Okay, I misheard. I was.
What do you
very
think I
confused.
said?
Not worth talking about. Anyways, oh Charlie's, oh Charlie. I've been here like once, and honestly, it wasn't bad. But Applebee's is generally where I'm thinking at placing this. I don't think it's as good as Applebee's. Have you ever been to O'Charlie's?
No.
Okay, yeah, then we're putting it below Applebee's. It's actually very similar to Applebee's, where it's like you go in and you have all these like general like nice ass looking tables, and they give you like a menu that's honestly not bad. I mean, in fact, they even have like grilled chicken there, which was a genuine surprise because like not a lot of places actually have grilled chicken. But the food is it's about as what you would expect from a restaurant that's similar to Applebee's. Now, Old Hickory slash the Moon place you talked about that I already forgot the name of.
Moonlight. What the
Moonlight.
fuck? Are you even from the town that we're from?
I've been there like once or twice in my life. Old Hickory I've been to a lot more.
It's a classic, more southern barbecue place. They both are,
Yeah.
and they're both very similar. They're like, where one's slightly better at one thing, one will be slightly better at another
Yeah.
thing. So that's why you get some people who like one over the other, depending on what you actually order. But I love burgoo, which is something we have. It's like a soup kind of thing, and I fucking love it. It slaps. The best version I have of it is in West Virginia, not even here, but it fucking slaps. I would wholeheartedly put this above Cheddar's.
I actually kind of agree. I think I've enjoyed Old Hickory more than I
Like
have.
it doesn't beat the mysticality of Long John Silver's,
No,
but it's
definitely not.
definitely one of the best restaurants on the list.
It also, like for Old Hickory specifically, they have very like home styled food, which is really nice.
Yeah,
Like you
well, that's
go
what-
there and
it's
you
just
just
southern
enjoy it.
barbecue.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
good. It's just
Southern
good.
barbecue.
A place that I don't think is
Okay,
as
by
good
the
is
way,
Olive
so
Garden. What?
interestingly enough, there's, and I know it's not local. Well, this isn't local either. But interesting enough, Fazoli's isn't on the list, but Olive Garden is. I go to Fazoli's, not Olive Garden. So I've only been to an Olive Garden once.
Same
And I've
actually.
been to Fazoli's a lot.
So something that I will say is I'm not a huge vegetable person. I don't particularly care for vegetables. Olive Garden is one of those like salad
I'm on the meat
places.
diet.
I'm more of a meat eater than I am a vegetable eater. But
No, it's
Olive
more
Garden is one of
pasta.
those, well, pasta and salad.
pasta.
From what, like almost every time I've ever gone to Olive Garden, I've almost ever seen people eat salads there. But
Yeah.
the breadsticks are like the big claim to fame for Olive Garden, and I had them. They are not as good of a claim to fame as they should be. My personal preference, I think they are. Honestly, I'm willing to put them at bad. I don't think they're good.
I'll take whatever you want. Like I said, I've only been there once, and that was forever ago.
I'll put them above Burger King because again, it's been a while since I've been there. My opinion might have changed, but from what I remember, I just didn't like it. It was Burger King like equivalent, Panera Bread.
Garbage.
I like some of their products, not a lot though.
Garbage.
I will put them at what do you think? Low bad.
Just put them at whatever, or just whatever. Sure.
You know what? Yeah,
and
okay.
anything that clearly states that they are not good,
No, they're not.
I'm
good.
fine with.
Papa Grande. I don't think I've actually been to Papa Grande. Have you been to Papa Grande?
is probably like I have. I've been to pretty much most of the Mexican restaurants we have around here, and it is
dear.
the most like it's not. It's one of those where it's not bad, but there are better Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
So I would put this probably in that Five Guys Arby's, area code, where it's good. If you went there, you're
Yeah.
gonna have a good experience. But you could also be like, well, it could have gone to like this, or this place.
Yeah, I gotcha.
One of them being on the list, so we'll get there.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Papa John's. I'm
Papa
pretty
John's is slightly
neutral.
better than Domino's for me.
Yeah, I
So,
kind of in the same park with that one.
yeah.
Um, Pizza by the Guy.
Never
This is an interesting one. I have very loose memories of going to this place, and similar to like Papa John's and Domino's, it's not bad, but I don't remember it as well as Domino's or Papa John's. I'm gonna put it actually behind Mikato's because I don't remember it that much.
Okay.
I still remember Mikato.
Okay.
I remember enjoying some of the food there, but I don't remember enjoying Pizza by
Now
the
that
Guy.
is not the same for pizza. Pizza is better than Papa John's. And Domino's.
Pizza.
It's not great. But it's
Pizza.
better.
Of the pizza places, I think it's a GOAT. I've
Yeah,
always
I
enjoyed
think-
Pizza
I don't
Hut.
think it's not Little Caesars, but like it's. I wouldn't put it up there.
So you think like right here is where you're generally speaking.
I would put it a little bit lower, but yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but now we have
Like,
to
you
counter.
think
Now we
category.
have to do something different because we're talking about the pizza, but what about the breadsticks? Because Pizza Hut clearly wins that
Still.
one.
No,
Yeah. No, yeah, they do. It's so
Not
easy.
for me.
They win.
not
The
not to
Pizza
me.
Hut
Not to me.
breadsticks are amazing.
Not to me. No.
So that's
I would
where we're
disagree.
keeping this. Remember, as before, people on his list, it would be swapped.
Okay.
Actually, no,
that's
it'd be
fair.
this, but on my list, it'd be swapped. But yes,
no, we understand. I understand.
yeah. I just like Pizza Hut. It's a classic place. But anyways, Popeyes.
Popeyes, I like Popeyes, but there are better chicken places, so I would put it to
Yeah.
it's definitely in good. Probably above Long John Silver's. Maybe above Denny's. I'd put it above Denny's.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could put it above Denny's.
I like. Here's the thing is, I really like chicken places, so
Same,
like all
same.
of them are gonna rank pretty high for me. But
If I'm being honest, though, I like the taste of Long John Silver's like chicken better than I do Popeyes. I think the thing that saves Popeyes over Long John Silver's though is their biscuits.
yeah, I mean, I could see that either way, but I think it's in that area code. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, now I have another one that I have to say this is a goat. Cane's is a goat. It's so
Okay,
goated.
but Cane's is really good, but they only have like 3 menu items, which is, I kind of like that about them.
Same, but also like
I would.
something I will state is though they have a very limited menu, they have enough of a difference between some of the items that makes you like question which is actually the better choice. Because for the longest time, I used to only get like the 4-piece chicken tender thing, right? I
Yeah.
then decided after watching a video where someone was talking about Cane's to try the sandwich version, and I need to express it is superior in every way. There is
Yeah, no, it
something
is.
they do with the sandwich thing that
Yeah.
makes it 10 times better.
I could tell you one thing that they do that other people don't is they toast their buns.
They do, and it's so
Most people don't
good.
do that. At least our Cane's does. Your mileage may vary. What I would do here
Yeah.
is I would move up Little Caesars and Pizza Hut to great and put Cane's at the very top of good.
I actually think it's better than Pizza Hut and Little Caesars. I'd be more
think
than
there's an
willing
argument
to.
for that, but
I think
yeah.
I'd be more
No, I'm
willing
not-
than that.
No, I'm fine with that. Because like they are fucking. They're just beneath the line of elite.
Yeah.
But
So, something I will
they
say
are
for
good.
for my personal listing, I would put it above Chick-fil-A. I do not like
I'll just-
Chick-fil-A
I'll
as
just-
much as I love Cane's, but for the
I
general
wouldn't, but
thing,
yeah.
for the general thing of us kind of like equalizing our votes, I think this is the better choice.
No,
Because
that's-
Chick-fil-A
no, I think
has
that's
a
place to
good
put it, too. I will
standard
say
of food that I'm
I'll say
willing to
this,
allow to be above.
You know why I think Cane's is so good, and this isn't, this is not in any negative term here. The one time I went to Cane's, right?
Yeah.
I went to Cane's a lot of times. I'm saying one of the times I went with the boys, and we went there, and it was like only us really. It was a slow day. We
Yeah.
walk in, and there was a white girl that was manning the register, and there was a few black people. I don't remember the variousness of their gender. There's at least one black lady, and I think at least one black dude, but I think there might have been a few other people. So we talked to the girl we order, and she goes from the register back into the kitchen, and the black girl goes, "Get your white ass out of here! You ain't touching the chicken." And that was so fucking hilarious. It's like, and my friend was like, "That's how you know it's good chicken is because it's made.
Yeah, yeah. Territorial.
It's made by the right. It's made by the right people.
That's so
Like,
funny.
I'm
That's
just
so
saying,
funny.
No,
you're,
for the most
you're-
part,
you're
black
right.
people make better chicken. So
They
it's
do.
what they got. So it's like, I would say that's why that Cane's nearly a goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny though. That is really fucking hilarious.
You want to talk about you want to talk about a fallen goat? Rallies.
So
Okay. If you remember way back when I said that Arby's has the second best fries,
this
Rallies
place
is the best. Rallies is the only fries that not only would I go there only for the fries, but I have bought the fries separately. Like I've gone out of my way to only buy the fries.
So I just want to state my very first experience of Rallies in quotation marks was not here. It was in Florida where it was called Checkers.
Yep.
And that food was so goddamn delicious. Like, holy shit! What do they put on their fries? What do they put in their burgers? Because it's so good!
It's so good.
I am more than willing to put this in a grate. It's so good. I have never had a bad Rallies experience. It's so good. What do you think of that?
I'm fine with it. I'm 100%
Yeah.
fine with it. Our local one has fallen off a bit, but they've gotten better.
They're still really good, though.
But that's just local, so all around, they're still high up.
Real Hacienda. Real Hacienda? Real Hacienda.
Real Hacienda, yeah.
I had to think about that. I think I said it wrong the first time, but anyways, yes.
So you remember when I said, like literally 5 minutes ago, that there was a better version of...
I'm guessing this is
of
the better version.
This is the better version. I would put this probably above like that JJ's Pizza to Cheddar's range, somewhere in there. Like there are still better Mexican places that are more local, in our town. But
like
of
Taco
the major
Bell
ones, that is the best. No,
No, I'm kidding.
I said local. We have some local places that I would rather go to, but of the more known ones, that's
this is definitely the one I've heard the best about. I'm not much of a Mexican restaurant person myself, but I have had Real Hacienda from like people bringing it to me, and it's always been really good. But from them, we have to go to a quickly dying brand, Red Lobster. They are, if I recall, they're actually being shut down like worldwide, I believe. Maybe some are holding on to dear life.
I think they went under.
They went bankrupt. But I have not enjoyed the Red Lobsters like ever. I've only enjoyed their biscuits, and I don't think their biscuits are that good, actually. I think I prefer these over anything else.
When I went there, they're okay. Like they're not like anything to take home about. Like it was not.
Honestly,
I would rather have gone to other places. So
I'm either low average or bad. That's my personal place.
I'd be perfectly fine with either.
Yeah. You know what? Let's juicy up bad a little bit. We'll get it high bad. Gotta expand our options here. Ritzy's. Now this is an interesting one, because earlier we were talking about Five Guys, and we were saying like how their food was. I was saying how their food was really good, but they're really expensive. Ritzy's is the better version of Five Guys because it's the exact same fucking meal. The only difference is that it's cheaper, which inherently makes it better.
No, Ritzy's is fucking goated. Like Ritzy's is like sometimes you just want to be in a 50s diner, you know, and they just have that aesthetic.
They have that aesthetic down pat. Honestly, I'm kind of down with putting this above like a Denny's.
Oh yeah, every day, yeah. 100%.
I think they're really good, and every time I've gone there, I've had a good time. The only time I haven't is when I've gone there multiple times, and I keep getting their fries because they have really good fries. But don't eat too many of them because they are greasy as shit. But Salsaritas. Now I've been to Salsaritas before, and they are good. But the question is, what do you think they are in levels?
I've never been to Salsaritas.
Oh, interesting. I am more inclined to put this next to Real Hacienda behind it, because I know Real Hacienda has a lot more of like going on than Salsaritas does.
They got more street cred.
Yeah, they do. They definitely have more street cred. Now this is an interesting one. Shogun.
Shogun is a fucking hood classic, though.
It's so like it's the one that like schools would take you to for fucking field trips.
Yeah, there are better Japanese restaurants. In fact, one of them is on this list.
Oh,
but it's also it's also a hood classic. So like, I would put it above New China.
I'm also fine with that. I agree. I don't think the food is honestly that amazing. I still think it's good. Don't get me wrong. But
Shogun also makes your food in front of you, which is pretty cool. So it's more
that's really cool
than it is for the food.
You know what? Because it is technically that, it's an experience. I'll put it just below JJ's. How
I'm
about that?
perfectly fine with that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic.
Okay. A lot of people don't like Sonic. I fucking love Sonic.
I think it's good.
Like,
I don't think it's
another
better than
secret-
Dairy Queen,
Dairy-
but I think they're good.
Another secret about me. I fucking love Sonic. So, I would put this like above Cheddar's.
Where's Cheddar's at? I gotta find because now this list has
It's
gotten really
behind
big.
Old
Okay, there it
Hickory.
is. Well,
Fine,
I'm
I'd put
so
it there.
I'm actually fine with putting it above Old Hickory because I think I'd much prefer this over Old Hickory. But I think between Long John Silver's and Sonic, I'd still choose Long John
Well,
Silver's.
Well, I'm still thinking like sometimes you really crave Southern barbecue, and like those are the main places to get it. So that's why I would put it slightly behind.
Yeah.
But I'm also not against putting it above. I'm not against putting it above, but I personally would put it slightly behind
good
because
point,
of the variation of food.
Actually, I'm gonna stick with your point because this is a fucking good point. When you want a specific style of like Southern food, you almost always go to Old Hickory or Moonlight. But like when you want any type of food that's like Sonic's, you're just gonna go to other places that are like Sonic, or you're going to go to Sonic.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Starbucks.
I don't drink coffee. The only time I've been to a Starbucks, I ordered essentially what is not only a milkshake, but more of like a chocolate milk, essentially. And what they did, and this is why I'm going to vote the way I am, they put chocolate in water, not milk. That is what I received, was chocolate water. Yup.
So I'm also agreeing with this because I kid you not, every single fucking time I have ordered food from, or not food, I've ordered any type of coffee product from them, it has always been bad tasting, and I've always regretted buying it. The first time I went, I was trying to do a comparison between McDonald's Mocha Frappe and Starbucks' Mocha Frappe, and I had just had the McDonald's one a while, like earlier in the day, so like the taste had left my mouth and shit. So I was like, okay, now let's try Starbucks, because I'm very curious, because this is the coffee place. Holy shit, it tasted so bad. I was like, what is this? And then recently, I tried the white lady's favorite coffee drink, which is the pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice.
Also tasted like shit. I was like, what? How do people think this is good? This does not taste good. And then my sister gave me a sip of her like nut-based coffee type thing. It was like vanilla nut and something like that, but also not good. So it's just like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But anyways,
By the
from
way,
there,
this is coming up is fucking death row. Like
holy
Jesus. We saved some of the best for last.
Yep.
Subway, I personally like Subway. They kind of fell off a bit, but
I would if they weren't so expensive.
No, 100%.
I think they're
Like, back in
below
the
Five
day,
Guys
they
to
were a
me.
hood classic, but now they've really fallen off.
Yeah, I think they're in the same
So
vein as
I'm
Five
fine.
Guys, where it's like
Yeah,
they're really good food, but they're just too expensive.
Is Taco Bell a goat?
That's the fun part. So
Because like when you're 2 a.m., there's only two places you're going to: Denny's or Taco Bell.
So
There's
I need to
only
express why I don't think it's as much of a go as it used to be. And it is probably purely because of how the times have changed for Taco Bell. Almost every time as of late I have gone to Taco Bell, I have gotten sick.
Really? I don't. I've always been fine.
I used to not have this as a problem, but recently it's been happening. And I've been noticing that like every time I get sick after eating, I've noticed that the tacos have tasted weird. So for me, unfortunately, it's a low, average, or bad. Because their quality has fallen.
No, but that could just be like our specific restaurant. We're talking.
No, I've tried both.
Legacy makes me like because Legacy it's not great, but you're right. Recently, it has fallen off a bit. Maybe that like Five Guys Subway range, but for very different reasons.
I will put it below Subway.
Okay.
Oh, come on now. There you go. I think that's fine. Because in that same vein, I think it does have that leniency of nostalgia, but it's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
But you know what still is good and never has not been...
Of the entire list, so I don't really eat out a lot. We make food at home. Of the entire list, this is the one I had the most recently, so there might be recency bias. Fucking A. It's so good.
It's so good. No, this is...
It's so
I would
good.
be honest. I think this is above McDonald's.
I don't think you put them above McDonald's because it's McDonald's, but like I agree that the food is way better, but like it's McDonald's, man. So
That's true.
I think that's perfect.
McDonald's is kind
I
of
put
king
it-
of restaurants when it comes to it, but
Yeah.
Texas Roadhouse has such damn good quality food. Earlier I said Dairy Queen had the best chicken. I take that back. Texas Roadhouse has the best chicken.
Really, I
But
never had
you-
chicken there actually.
Their chicken's really. I only ever eat chicken when I go to places because I'm not a huge steak person. I don't like the texture of steak. It also I don't like that it
steak
sticks to my
either.
teeth that much.
I don't eat steak either, and I used to get the ribs, but now that I don't
Yeah.
eat pork anymore, I got their what? It was what did I? It was.
Did you
It
eat
wasn't
their
like
table?
Shut up. We didn't eat there. We didn't eat there. We delivered.
Yeah, I gotcha. Oh, that's
But-
smart.
It wasn't cod. It was like trout. Maybe it was trout. Like, they had some weird fish that they wouldn't normally have, and I
Yeah.
ordered that, and it was fucking good. Like I'm someone who's very picky on. I love seafood. I'm very picky about what good seafood actually is, and it was good. So
Yeah.
like, I 100% I'd put it up there. And their biscuits are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, no. So actually, that's
the
what I was gonna say.
yeah.
I think the thing that makes them king is their rolls. They have the best rolls in
Yeah,
town. Period.
rolls. Yeah.
Oh, and especially the dip with the rolls, like that sweet butter.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
it's, easy, it's pretty easy to make at home, and we do it all the
Yeah.
time. But yeah, it's so good.
it's just good though. It hits different when it's at the
You
place.
want-
But another
like,
goat.
Here we're getting. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's like, are we gonna? It's like it's so obviously a goat because
Yeah.
of like who we are.
Okay,
like-
so I have to put this above Texas Roadhouse because I eat here more than I do
but,
Texas
yeah, but here's
Roadhouse.
the thing. Besides Culver's and for you chopsticks, if someone said tomorrow pick a restaurant that you want to go to on this list, I would pick Wasabi.
If
So
I
I would
had, okay, so here's what I
Personally,
think.
I'd put it above McDonald's.
If
But
I
McDonald's
was
is still McDonald's.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so hold on. So personally, if I'm, so that's the idea of what you just said is based on who I'm going with. If I'm going alone, I'm going to probably go to Wasabi. If I'm with my sister, it's going to Chopsticks because my meal like preference changes about who I'm with.
That's fair, but I've never been to I've never been to chopsticks. I have that kind of
What I
separation,
will say
but, yeah,
that I
get it,
like
get
about
it.
Chopsticks a little more than I do Wasabi is they don't make the stuff too overly sweet. Because like Wasabi, they have like they dump like a fuck ton of that like sweet sauce on your plate, but it makes it really good. I can't lie,
No,
it's
I get,
really
but
good.
I get it. I understand.
But I do think I'm tossed between putting it behind McDonald's or above McDonald's.
Yeah, I think like as far as like desire in food, it is above McDonald's, but McDonald's is
Yeah.
fucking McDonald's. It's like, it's
I
so
think because we have to
It's our-
respect
you know
what
what, it's
it
our
really
fucking
is.
list. It's
It's
our fucking
our
list.
list.
Yeah.
Wasabi is better than McDonald's. It's not better than our favorites, but it's better than McDonald's.
No. Yeah.
Now we got two. This is an interesting one.
Wendy's was a goat until they got rid of the 4 for 4, and I'll never forgive them for that. They got rid of no. Me and the boys would go out, hang out, and then like it was a ritual to get a 4 for 4. 'cause it
Yeah,
was cheap
I
and
used to
decent.
also get the 4 for 4.
And then
but-
they fucking took it away. And I know the fucking
Isn't
$5
it now
bag
like
is
a
kinda the same
5
thing, but
for 5 or
bullshit.
something now, or 5 for 4
No,
or whatever?
it's a $5 biggie bag, which is stupid. It's pretty much the same thing, but it costs an extra $1.
There is a
and it's
difference,
stupid,
and I
and I hate
need
it.
to
There's a
state the
difference.
difference.
There's a difference.
The biggest difference, and this kind of works for me better, is they allow you to have like a bacon burger sandwich with it now, whereas before I
Yeah.
think you couldn't have that. I much
Yeah, it
prefer
was
the
only
bacon
very
sandwiches over to the other one. So
Bacon
I think
and yes,
the thing is
true.
fine.
I still, it's still bullshit. They could have both.
Yeah.
I meant 4 for
Um,
4. I would still put it behind Cane's.
That's what I was gonna say actually, because like it's really good when you're just craving it, but it's not as good as
Yeah.
Cane's. Now
Like,
this is
bacon is so
interesting.
good. Their chicken nuggets are pretty good.
Okay,
Not great. Their fries are
for this
okay.
last
I'm not talking
one-
about Zaxby's. I'm still talking about Wendy's.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
all that.
Okay,
But
but
Zaxby's, here's the thing. They're not usually great, but me and my mom had a tear on getting Zaxby's like chicken salads,
yeah,
and they were so good. Like it was so unreasonably good. Like there was a day that we went there, got one, came back, ate, and then a few hours later, we're like, "I'm gonna go back to Zaxby's," and we went back to Zaxby's. That was the only time in my entire life that I've
That's
left
so
the
funny.
restaurant, and then the same day went back to the exact same place and got the exact same order, and was equally as happy.
that's funny.
But the difference is that I wouldn't just normally go to Zaxby's besides that.
Okay, so I have
for
to ask a
me-
very no, hold on before
go
you
on.
begin.
Yeah.
I need
No,
to
go ahead.
ask because I recently, not recently, like a year ago, I discovered I haven't ever had Zaxby's until like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, but I discovered them
Okay.
and I've come to a conclusion that they are, in my opinion, a worse version of Raising Cane's. They have a meal that
Which
is
not an insult, mind you.
No, it's not. It's, if anything, it's technically a good praise because Raising Cane's fucking good, and if you are considered close to it, you know that's a good thing. But my experience with them is they have a lot of meals that are very similar. They have one that is literally like the same amount of chicken tenders. They give you the same style of fries, and then they dump on their type of toast, which is just like your normal Texas toast, right? Or Texas style toast, or like garlic bread toast. I don't know exactly what it's called, but in comparison to the type of chicken, in comparison to the fries, and in comparison to their toast, Cane's wins in all 3 spots. Which is why I think it's a worse version of Cane's.
Here's the thing: I do agree that it's a worse version of Cane's, but that still makes it pretty fucking good.
Exactly, which is why I want to ask, where do you want to put it? Because it has to now. We now know it has to be below Cane's.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, it was never going to be above Cane's. No. Way. I would put it in that like Sonic Old Hickory area.
I think
its high bar is like Dairy Queen, and its low bar is above Cheddar's. Like to me, that's kind of the range I'm looking at.
I think above Cheddar's because I much more enjoy Sonic over Zaxby's.
Fair enough. No, I'm fine with that.
But with this, folks, we have finished our tier list, and I hope that those who have decided to join us through the link down below have made their own tier list, and we'll be posting it probably in random creativity in our Discord. I feel like that's a good spot for it.
So if you join the Discord down below, send us pictures of your tier list.
Yeah, we would love to see that.
Of your restaurant tier list.
And you know what? Type whenever you send it. Send a text message, a text with it that says GPP or GPP. Just send that with it so we know you're from the podcast. But with that being said, this was actually a really fun thing to do for the podcast. I actually really enjoyed setting this up because it kind of showed us we actually have very similar opinions on restaurants, which is kind of funny. But with that being said, I think it's time for us to wrap it up. So we would like to thank you all for joining us today. Actually, you know what? I feel like I do the outros all the time. Why don't you do the outro?
I want to thank you all for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you've had too. I know it's a little bit different because we didn't have the guests what we normally do, and hopefully by next time you see this, which is 2 weeks from now, you'll be seeing it then. Sorry if any of the information we said earlier on is incorrect as 2 weeks have passed, so that's entirely possible. Otherwise, we want to thank you for watching. Discord is down in the description, so we do want to see your tier list. Screenshot them, send them in there, and make sure you don't have any personal information on there. Just the actual graph itself. Otherwise, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Keep up with the monthly events. Well, by the way, we do monthly events. We do big gaming stuff in our Discord, so please join us for that. Otherwise, like I said, thank you for watching. You have a good day. We'll be seeing you next time, and most importantly, I don't know. I lost it. Cut that shit.
Yeah. No, that's staying. Goodbye, everybody.